Whoops, sorry. I know my mic is probably going to go crazy behind that, but whatever. I'm going to chill for a sec and let some music play to intro me into what we're getting into tonight. Because I'm also really hungry still. I haven't eaten yet. I haven't finished eating. So I'm going to do that while we get to do. Yo, what up, Selassie? How you feeling tonight? Playing Elden Ring and chilling. That's cool. After this track finishes, I'm going to get into what we're talking about. Thank you. This is a cover of a Doom track, E1M3 Dark Holes. What up, Kuma? I want to talk about abortion funds just to start off the stream. I want to talk about abortion funds just to start off the stream. Sorry, I forgot to mute my fucking stream manager. Avoiding homework and lurking streams, the usual. I feel that. What's up, y'all? It's Endless Cemetery, back with another stream. Welcome, welcome. We're going to talk really quick about abortion funds. What the fuck? This website doesn't even fucking work. Hang on, let me see if I can find something else. Excuse me. So we're gonna read this GQ. I know it is what it is, but I feel like to explain my motivation here. Like I said in the stream yesterday, I'm from Maryland. Maryland is a state where abortion rights are protected, reproductive rights are protected. There's going to be people traveling from around the country to Maryland for the purposes of reproductive health care and abortion services, yada, yada. So, therefore, I'm plugging the Baltimore Abortion Fund. I'm going to be doing a fundraiser. Right now, the tentative date is May 14th. I'm going to do a 24-hour stream to raise money for the Baltimore Abortion Fund. My stream bot is 10 minutes late. Yeah, I know. What's up, Fettin', y'all? You guys got here just in time for me to actually get into the stream anyway. I figured that either my bot was late or people are probably lurking other streams or whatever. I stream at a weird time. 10 p.m. is a weird time to go live, but like I have a day job that I can't quit yet, so I can only do what I do. But for anyone who missed what I was just saying, I'm the only streamer you can watch. I appreciate that, phenomenal idiot. Thank you, Selassie. So what I was saying is, actually, before I get too deep into this, let me go ahead and share my shit on Facebook to make sure people know to watch me on Facebook. Okay, so I was saying yesterday, I was saying last night, I am from Maryland. I'm from Baltimore. I talk about that shit all the fucking time. My podcast is literally called The Bolsheviks. Maryland is a state where abortion rights are protected, reproductive health rights are protected, reproductive health care is provided for adequately and safely. So, that being the case, I want to promote for the Baltimore Abortion Fund. They are based as fuck. I read what they were about last night, but I can do that again if you guys want me to do that again. But I also, because I know that not everybody who watches me is going to be in the general vicinity of Maryland, I want to talk about abortion funds and how you can donate to them and what abortion funds actually contribute to and how you can participate in terms of like volunteering beyond just sending money, right? So I have this GQ piece. One of the things abortion funds do, obviously, is, provide for abortions, get individuals in contact with abortion doctors, facilities where abortions can be performed, drugs, medications, what have you. But the thing that they also do is provide transportation for individuals to and from places where they might not be able to access reproductive health care, provide lodging for people who will need a place to stay, a place to rest after they have whatever procedures or treatments or whatever done. All sorts of things like this, right? Childcare, all sorts of stuff like this. So I'm going to read this link because there's multiple abortion funds across the country right now. I think it's something like 13 states will have just full-on abortion bans if Roe v. Wade becomes overturned. So let's take a look at this. Let me blow it up big. Last night, while many of us were preoccupied by the Met Gala, I was not, because fuck the Met Gala. Let me blow this up so y'all can read it with me. We were preoccupied by the Met Gala looks clogging our feed. Something historic was happening at the Supreme Court. The justices privately ruled to overturn Roe v. Wade according to a draft majority opinion of the ruling that was written by Justice Samuel Alito, then leaked and later published by Politico. While just a draft and not an official decision, since the New York Times notes that Supreme Court justices occasionally change their minds during the writing of opinions, many legal observers are treating the leaked document as a foregone conclusion. A formal ruling would be a huge blow to reproductive rights in the U.S., stripping the nation of a federal constitutional right to abortions that's been in place for over 50 years and allowing states to make the call on restricting or banning abortions, which they will. It's part and parcel to fascism. It comes based on the case Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, a Mississippi law banning abortions at 15 weeks, which was argued before the court in December and expected to reach a decision this June. Trump appointees Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, along with Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and Alito, secured a conservative majority to uphold the case, which would directly oppose the Roe v. Wade ruling, which should surprise absolutely no one. If the court overturns Roe, the decision signals a devastating shift that would curtail abortion protections for those living in Republican-controlled states, particularly people of color who face the worst maternal mortality rates in the country. So think about that. You're forcing people to have children in places where people die from having children, specifically people of color, right? It's very intentional. and those who cannot afford to travel to receive care. So it's not just a race issue, it's a class issue, even though your race to a large extent determines your class, this being America. But anyway. The Guttmacher Institute predicts that at least 26 states are certain or likely to ban abortions. That includes states with prior, thank you, Sharon. That includes states with prior abortion bans already in place before Roe v. Wade, and others with trigger bans, likely Kentucky and Louisiana, that would immediately work. That would immediately work to outlaw abortions once the Roe decision no longer applies. President Biden issued a written statement today saying that if the court does overturn Roe, it will fall on our nation's elected officials at all levels of government to protect a woman's right to choose, and it will fall on voters to elect pro-choice officials this November, as the ruling would come on the cusp of midterm elections. As we've previously reported, activists are also supporting calls to state representatives in places where Democrats have the power to make abortion services more accessible, like California's recent law requiring healthcare plans to offer full coverage for care. In the meantime, what we know is that abortion funds can use all the financial support they can get right now. Donating to an on-the-ground clinic or dedicated abortion fund helps provide resources to people living in states where access to abortions is limited and increasingly threatened. That can range from funding the actual procedure itself to transportation and lodging, which is becoming more and more imperative as people skirt laws in their home states to secure a safe abortion elsewhere. Below, some tangible ways to take action. And I said that before. It's not just the actual abortion itself. It's going to be transportation and lodging for people who need to, emigrate, for lack of a better word, to states where abortion can be acquired. Biden calls on both sides to do the right thing. Fuck Biden. And I'm going to get to the whole electoralism. We need to vote harder. We need to come out in November shit. I'm going to get to that after I finish with this. I want to take care of this piece of business first. And flee is better than immigrant, you'd say? Yeah, I would also use that terminology. But I'm going to take care of this piece of business first, and then we can get to the liberal bullshit. Okay? So, the National Fundraiser, if you want to simplify your choices, the National Network of Abortion Funds has organized a fundraiser that splits your donation between more than 80 different abortion clinics spread across state lines. You can also customize amounts if you have preferences. Access Reproductive Care Southeast provides funding and logistical support to people seeking abortions in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Tennessee. The Northwest Abortion Access Fund is an abortion fund providing child care, financial assistance, and transportation to people in Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. The Midwest Access Coalition covers travel costs, child care, lodging, meals, and more for people seeking abortions within the Midwest. Indigenous Women Rising protects Native people's rights to equitable and safe health options by providing financial aid to Indigenous scholars seeking abortions throughout the U.S. and Canada. The Bridget Alliance is a nationwide fund that supports people traveling long distances across country for late-term abortions. And Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project is the largest national independent abortion fund that provides funding for emergency contraceptives and abortions throughout the U.S., working directly with around 700 clinics worldwide. Magic Cat. Yeah, there's got to be, yeah. You're correct, Magic Cat. Other states should offer refugee status for people from states. And that's going to be the weird thing, is because states will have coded into law penalties for people who leave to get abortions in other states and come back. That's kind of like the whole abortion bounty shit in Oklahoma, where you get 10 bans for snitching on a person that you know received an abortion. And if they can prove it in the court of law, then yeah. But here's some abortion funds by state. Alabama's Yellowhammer Fund, Arizona's the Abortion Fund of Arizona, Arkansas, the Arkansas Abortion Support Network, Georgia's the Access Reproductive Care Southeast, Idaho's the Northwest Abortion Access Fund, Iowa's the DePross Access Fund of the Emma Goldman Clinic, Kentucky is A Fund Inc., and Kentucky Health Justice Network, Louisiana is the Goldstein Fund, the New Orleans Abortion Fund, Michigan is the Reclaim Michigan WIN Fund. Mississippi is the Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund. Missouri is the Missouri Abortion Fund. North Dakota is the North Dakota Women in Need Abortion Access Fund. Ohio is the Preterm Access Fund, the Agnes Reynolds Jackson Fund, and the Women Have Options Ohio. Oklahoma's got the Roe Fund. South Carolina has Access Reproductive Care Southeast and the Carolina Abortion Fund. South Dakota has the Justice Through Empowerment Network and the South Dakota Access for Every Woman. Tennessee's got the Abortion Care for Tennessee, Choices Patient Assistance Fund, and the Mountain Access Brigade. Utah has the Utah Abortion Fund. West Virginia has the Holler Health Justice and the Women's Health Center of West Virginia Choice Fund. Wisconsin's got the Freedom Fund, the Options Fund, the Women's Medical Fund, and Wyoming's got Chelsea's Fund. What's up, Freckle? So that's that. Let's look at the Baltimore Abortion Fund one more again, because that's what I'm repping, what I'm going to be fundraising for. Yo, what up, Justy? Like I said, right now the tentative date is May 14th. I'll be streaming for 24 hours to raise money for the Baltimore Abortion Fund. Right now I am trying to first and foremost secure like an interview and Q&A from a representative from the Baltimore Abortion Fund. And once I have a date that I can lock that in, then I'll start talking to other streamers about joining in for games and talking about experiences and so on and so forth. Yeah, right now the tentative date is May 14th. I can let you guys know because I emailed a representative today who was coincidentally supposed to, while we're talking about Baltimore and Maryland stuff, she was supposed to be on our podcast to be interviewed to talk about some labor organization stuff, some unionization efforts that she's been involved with. But this happened, the day before yesterday, and it's because she also works with the Baltimore Abortion Fund. This has kind of eaten up all of her bandwidth. So in the spirit of that, I want to secure like interview and Q&A with her and get some other streamers on board. I know people have told me to try to get like Maddie Cakes. Merrick is pretty cool, Merrick DeVille. And I know a bunch of you guys want to participate as well. And I want to get like a solid schedule or something. It's something that it has to be like at least like 2 weeks out, but I definitely want to do it within a month from now, just because the other consequence of this is that if Roe v. Wade, like if Roe gets overturned, we're going to need to do this monthly. I mean, like literally every month, just send money to your local abortion fund or whatever abortion fund you can think of your choice. There are some other fundraisers that I wanted to do. I wanted to do Baltimore Food Not Bombs again, Baltimore Food Rescue, Baltimore Community Fridge, a bunch of other things, but obviously this is the most pressing thing right now, I feel like. So, yeah, with that in mind, let's take a look at the Baltimore Abortion Fund. Let's see what they're about. What's up, Magic Cat? We should discuss how abortion bans, women's health care, and children's health care are being dealt with on reservations. Specifically, Pine Ridge comes to mind, how that impacts that community. Yeah, so it's not lost on me, and I'm glad that people are focusing on the fact that like BIPOCs will be the most affected by any type of abortion restrictions or bans just by nature of the class structure in the country. Center of the country is going to need extra funds. This is very true. There are rumors of Alabama trying to do some shenanigans to shut down the Yellowhammer Fund. That makes a lot of sense, honestly. From Texas to North Dakota, yes, absolutely. And that's why I'm saying I want to put on people to the Baltimore Abortion Fund, because I know at least like in the Mid-Atlantic area, probably like I'd say as far south as like Georgia and, as far west as probably like Tennessee or something. We're going to need abortion funds here. Like we're going to need to fund a Baltimore Abortion Fund here. Some of the most racist ass white people are going to want abortions. And that's the thing, is that rich people, upper class people will always have access to abortions. If you're like a senator and your mistress is pregnant or something crazy like that, You can just fly them out to get an abortion, or worst case scenario, fly a doctor to you and have them sign an NDA or something like that. It's very transparent how this works. It's tantamount to, or not tantamount, but it dovetails with eugenics, right? You have this underclass of people who get it's twofold. You have an underclass of people who get locked into poverty and debt cycles because they have children that they can't afford, that then change the entire dynamic of their entire friend group, because it takes a village, right? A child is not just the responsibility of their mother and father, right? You have grandparents, you have aunts, you have uncles, you have neighbors, you have close friends, you have nieces and nephews, like all these people that now this child has to be priority number one for them, and they have to go to work. They can't not go to work, right? And the child itself becomes raw materials for either the school to prison pipeline or the school to factory pipeline, right? Thinking the Bible said the poor will inherit the debt. I don't think that's what it's been a minute since I've read mine, but I'm not entirely sure that that's accurate. I know that one of the Beatitudes, or like one of the things that Christ said, was that a camel will fit through the eye of a needle before a rich man can enter the gates of heaven. And one of the Beatitudes, like, blessed are the meek. That's the opposite of what it says. Oh, okay. Yeah. JJ for now. Sorry. I'm just like locked in right now. So it's really hard for me to like read tone and sarcasm and via text. But let's talk about the Baltimore Abortion Fund. The Baltimore Abortion Fund is a mutual aid, grassroots, nonprofit organization that provides financial assistance and practical support to people who live in or travel to Maryland for abortion care. We are part of the national network of abortion funds, which consists of 70 plus independently operated funds across the country. We can look at that. Actually, let's look at that now. We already kind of looked at this on the list on GQ's website, but I'll drop a link to this in chat for anyone who needs this. It's in Twitch chat. It's harder for a wealthy man to enter into heaven than it is for a camel to enter through the eye of a needle. That's exactly it, young slugger. I have the KJV, so the way that yeah, thanks, young slug. Stream's been pretty good so far. I'm just talking about the Baltimore Abortion Fund. I want to see them get funded. I want to do a fundraiser for them. I want to actually because here's the thing, right? Now, I don't want to derail too much from talking about what we're supposed to be talking about, but there's very few people on the Twitch poll side of the fence, right? And it might just be me not paying attention. I'm entirely open to that. But I have not seen too many people who are doing exactly what we're doing right now, right? I know Sharky posted a link to like direct action and stuff, how to get involved. Hassan is doing like abortion fund stuff. But I haven't seen too many people cover this beyond just the headline. Maybe talking to someone about what it all means, how we can vote, whatever. Like, I'm a black anarchist. I am action oriented, right? When some shit hits the fan, I need to know, what do we do, right? What do we do? People are locked up. Let's start a jail solidarity bail fund, whatever. Abortion's getting banned. Let's fund these abortion funds, right? People are on the streets hungry. Let's do food, not bombs, right? This kind of stuff. We eat the rich, yeah. Do I have any events in the area or have anything this month? Also, is Baltimore having protests? I don't, and I'm not entirely sure if Baltimore's having protests. I would love to get involved, but so it's twofold, right? And this is going to kind of get into my point about electoralism that I'm going to talk about later, is that the reason why I even started doing politics on Twitch is because I was live streaming the protests for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor in Baltimore from 2020, right? I was cop watching. I was showing the police beating unarmed protesters and stuff like that, right? So I'm protested out because we see what the results of those were in 2020, and that's fuck all, right? So me being an anarchist, I'm ready to make moves. I'm ready to do something besides staying in the street with a sign and a bullhorn, right? But beyond that, I have a 9 to 5 fucking job. So I can't really be out there like like I would love to be, because I gotta go to fucking work. I gotta keep a roof over my head. Hassan tends to stay on top of mutual aid programs. Mad respect for him. Yes, absolutely. And it's really fucking weird when people want to pocket watch him and do all this weirdo shit when, in my opinion, from my perspective, he is literally leading the fucking charge when it comes to giving people the tools to engage directly with their communities to change their material conditions. You don't think protests are it, but a more active form? We can get into that. I'm going to get into that after we talk about abortion funds. But you're moving to Florida in a month, sadly, but we'll be taking your shit down there. Yeah, I feel that, young slugger. But I'm going to talk about protests and all that stuff after we get through the Baltimore abortion fund stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to talk about that right now because I talked about this last night. If you guys want more information about this, we can go into this at the end. Burn down Alito's house to start. I can't advocate for violence. Can't advocate for violence. What I will say, though, is that this doesn't get fixed by voting. And I'm gonna show you guys something. Shout out to Alec Gunter, because I love Alec. He's the homie. But we got to talk about this, right? So, Alex shared this. It's a tweet. It's a cringe tweet. Super fucking cringe, right? This person saying, I'm not a Republican, you stupid white liberals. I'm a black person pissed about the Roe v. Wade reversal. Shut your cracker mouth. Oh, fuck. I hope I don't get banned for that. Shut your C-word mouth and go vote somewhere, because that's y'all only solution to anything, apparently. Which is... Someone responded to that with, you mean stupid white liberals that got the Civil Rights Act passed so you could sit at a fucking lunch counter? Those white liberals? Go fuck yourself. And we can look at that and know that that's cringe. What's up, Talon of the Silverhawk? We can look at this. There's absolutely a place for protests and getting into some good trouble. I'm going to get to that, Frackle. So... yeah, this is obviously infuriating, right? This is obviously infuriating. I'm reading a quote right on Talon and Silverhawk. But replace the word Civil Rights Act, replace that with gay marriage, and you will literally have the take of a lot of these people, right? That's why we're having this discourse in the first place. Because and I can't believe no one has examined this or thought too heavily about this. The fact that a lot of the people who are pushing for electoralism are people who either have had careers or are looking for careers in politics. Nobody thinks that's fucking weird. But I'm gonna set it like this for y'all, right? We were just talking about, I was just telling you guys about the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor protests, right? It wasn't even white liberals that won the Civil Rights Act. It was black revolutionaries and communists. This white man's burden shit is so cringe. See, these liberals don't fucking see it that way, though. They literally think that, like, it's the savior shit. It's the horseshoe theory, right? Where a lot of these people, they still view marginalized groups as separate from them. It's just that they've taken a nanny approach instead of a superiority approach. They view it as transactional too. Yes, exactly. So we gave you this, so know your place. Exactly. So let's get into that. Let's unpack that. So imagine me. May you say something? Go for it, young slugger. Because I'm going to tell you all a story in a second. And so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. So, I'm going to throw, you guys mind if I put some music on? I'm going to throw a little music on. Because I'm going to pause a lot, and it's going to be weird me just sitting here in silence. So, let's do this. Only if it's lingua franca. That's funny. As West Virginia, I think liberals took it as a race thing. We really don't give a fuck. We understand more in a weird way. It's class, no white savior shit. So, yeah, that's because West Virginia has a lot of white people. The singer of my band lived in West Virginia for a minute. He had to move. Yeah, I feel that, young slugger. So here, okay. So here's my let me walk you through a scenario, right? Mind you, I have talked at length about the fact that my grandmother. Thank you, Andrew. I made this, but I have talked at length about the fact that my grandmother was a literal fucking slave, right? Family of sharecroppers who were descended from slaves. My grandmother picked cotton from sun up to sundown when she was 8-9 years old on the same plantation that her mother and father were on, which is the same plantation that her mother's father and her mother's father were both enslaved on, right? Just so you guys know where I'm coming from in terms of my ancestry and my heritage and my history. I am literally descended directly from slavery. Not even just like great-great-grandparents, whatever. I mean, literally. I wouldn't call her now because it's almost 11 at night, but my grandmother literally picked fucking cotton for the free ski, right? They had to run in the cover of night off the plantation because dipping out was illegal, right? They owed the landlord money, and he had them locked in that debt cycle of sharecroppers. Harper's around Maryland? I'm not sure about that one. So, mind you, my grandmother picked cotton from sun up to sundown. She was alive for the Civil Rights Act, right? She was alive to witness us, black people, collectively African Americans, rioting for 2 fucking weeks straight after the assassination of MLK Jr. to get the Civil Rights Act passed, to earn ourselves the right to vote. And yet, I could travel to Louisiana right fucking now and show you. Look, hold on. I could travel to Louisiana right fucking now. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, let me start over. So, mind you, my grandmother picked cotton from sun up to sundown for the free ski. She was a literal fucking slave, right? She's told me about this. I have recordings of her telling stories about this, right? She was alive to witness Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination and the subsequent rioting for 2 fucking weeks to get us the right to vote through the Civil Rights Act, right? We finally earned the right to vote, and yet I could drive to Louisiana right fucking now and see this. Right? I could drive to Louisiana right fucking now and see this, right? But let's set that aside for a moment. Right? Let's just pretend that we don't know about that. Let's pretend that November 2020 was our first time getting involved in electoral politics. Let's hypotheticalize for a second that I was in the protests. Thank you for the follow, Hidden Ho. Was this around the time they made vagrancy illegal, literally as a loophole to put black people back into slavery? That was black codes. That was a precursor to Jim Crow. And we still have sundown towns. You're absolutely correct, phenomenal idiot. I talked about Carroll County on here in Frederick. The KKK is literally fucking out there to the point where they had to ban the pride flag out there because all the fucking Klansmen were pissed that the fucking Confederate flag got banned on school grounds out there, right? I could go on about that. I've already covered it. We could talk about that another time. Trust me when I say I live 20 fucking minutes from a sundown town, right? So there's that. Remember when you said I could ask you about Dylan stuff? Whenever I pull that favorite, can we talk about grandmother history and slavery in current USA as well? I think we'll agree mostly. Yeah, for sure. Matter of fact, at the end of the stream, I'll talk about Dylan stuff because I want to talk about that too. But so anyway, let's pretend for a second. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We don't even have to pretend. I'm just going to tell you my story because this shit makes no fucking sense, right? It makes zero fucking sense. Yeah, we can talk end the stream, young slugger. I'll like end and then start a new stream or something. Must play it very well attention to. Yeah, I have nothing but the purest of intentions. Literally. To the point where I'm not even fucking aware of a lot of what these streamers do. I just straight up don't follow them. But let me get back to what I was talking to you about, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave this up on we'll come back to it. So anyway, let me turn the music down in my ears a little bit. So, you're me, right? You're in the George Floyd. First of all, I was there. I talked about this last week because last week was the anniversary of the Freddie Gray uprising here in Baltimore back in 2015. Thank you for the like and the share key. So, what's up, Algal? So, I was in the Freddie Gray protests back in 2015. I was there to see a lot of the Freddie Gray uprising back in 2015. Thank you for the share and a like. I witnessed a lot of the Freddie Gray uprising in 2015, saw that the police instigated. They showed up in riot gear to ensnare and entrap the children, high school children, going so far as to shut down metro trains, shut down buses, and make people get off of the buses so that they could kettle them and corral them into a specific area so that they could do riot cop shit to them, right? And we all know what happens. We've all seen the headlines of 2015 and the riots here in Baltimore, right? I was there for that, right? Fast forward to 2020. COVID is happening. Lots of people are stuck inside. We're all in the fucking streets because of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Algal, that's how Algal met me, right? I was streaming from the streets, showing the police clubbing, pepper spraying and everything, unarmed protesters. Protesters on their knees with their hands up saying, hands up, don't shoot, right? All this stuff on top of the fact that George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were one in a fucking million of black people, BIPOCs, poor people who were just killed indiscriminately by police every fucking day in this country, right? And so the whole fucking song and dance, the whole commercial, right? Because people who are hogs going hog wild, yes, exactly. But people who were there remember, what were we saying the whole time we were out there? Abolish the police, right? That's what we were saying. We were saying we wanted the police abolished. Not reformed, not trained better. We want them gone, right? And lo and behold, we had Barack Obama fucking step in to say, you lose people with the snappy slogans, right? To the point where abolish the police became defund the police, right? You're working on put together a spreadsheet of how many charges got dropped from 2020 because police brutality was caught on film. I'm sure that's going to be a massive undertaking because police brutality is common and people don't think about it because it doesn't happen to them. And we'll get into the whole, that's going to lead us into the whole voting thing, right? Barack, your optics aren't white enough, Obama. Yes, right? Part of the ratchet system. The right-wing ratchet. What's the phrase? Bad shit gets worse because of Republicans and nothing changes because of Democrats. The role of the Democratic Party is to co-opt leftist movements, make them ineffective, take the teeth out of them, and sell them as a product, right? Just there in Omaha, you had close to 200 charges dropped from one protest. I believe that. A lot of my close personal friends were involved in the J20 protests and were all J20 defendants. My band did a fucking fundraiser show for the J20 protesters who were having to fight felony charges in court, right? Do I know what demo my viewer base is? I'm not sure. I would assume that it's a lot of anarchists and communists and a mix of the two. Just because of how much I hate on liberals and the things that I speak on. I talk about police abolition, the United States government abolition, so on and so forth. And yes, it is gut-wrenching, Mowdy. But so, now that we have the stage set, right? Me, as a black man who is subject to the whims of police at all fucking times. J20 feds said they only went after the bad protesters. That's bullshit because I know people who weren't even fucking involved and got locked up behind that. So you got arrested at the Portland protest by the federal agents. Yeah. And this is another fucking thing, dog, is the feds were literally snatching people up in unmarked fucking vehicles, black bagging people like it's fucking Belarus, right? Going hog fucking wild. Hogs going hog wild, right? There's going to be a really good talk on Haymarket about that exact thing coming up on the 9th, the phenomenon called elite capture. Yes, thank you, Frackle. And you're a rad lib? Yeah, I'm a rad lib too. I'm id polling. I weaponize my identity when I tell white people that they can't say the N-word or can't call people subhuman. Age, race, and gender? I'm not really sure on that. I don't know how to look into my demographics, young slugger. NYPD was doing the unmarked van thing, snatching protesters. Yeah, they were. My former housemate, who was the last J20 defendant, he was the last person to get federal charges dropped against him, came on stream to talk about the snatch squads and the pepper spraying and people's rights getting violated, all that goofy shit, right? So you're me, right? Or anyone like me, a black man who is subject to the whims of the state and the violence of the police at all times, for any reason, at any moment, right? So naturally, this is something you would be concerned about. This is something you would want to take some kind of action against. And the liberals step in to say, this is an issue that you need to vote on, right? You can win people to your position if and only if you make it more palatable to the people in the middle who never gave a fuck about you in the first place. And you vote for the most toothless fucking politicians to begin with, because that's the other side of it, right? Is that when people tell you about electoralism and they tell you that you need to vote, who do you think they're telling you to vote for? They're not telling you to vote for the fucking CPA. They're not telling you to vote for the fucking PSL or the DSA. They're telling you to vote Democrat, right? If you tell someone point blank, I'm voting for the Green Party, they'll tell you what? You're wasting your vote, right? If you say, I want to vote for the Libertarian Party, they will tell you what? You're wasting your vote, right? So they're not just telling you to vote, they're telling you to vote Democrat. And that's saying the quiet part out loud. No, I do not vote. It's too much effort for me. It's crazy how the feds just completely don't need to follow any rules. I remember one time at the protest, they literally had their knee on protesters. Fam, police were literally doing the thing that we were out there protesting for to protesters, and no one gave a fuck. Barack Obama came out to say, don't say abolish the police because you lose people with that. And that's how abolish the police became defund the police, which then became reform the police, right? So you're me, right? Who has never voted before, never been involved in the electoral process, have no experience whatsoever. So I have to take time, effort, and energy to register to vote Democrat, because like I said, they're not telling you to vote CPA. They're not telling you to vote DSA or PSL. They're telling you to vote Democrat, right? Because that's the harm reduction. And we're going to get into what actual harm reduction is in a minute, because I'm really fucking tired of that phrase getting co-opted by liberals talking about voting, when harm reduction means something very specific. And it's very fucking infuriating to me being a Baltimore civilian, being a Baltimore fucking denizen, right? With us having the issues that we have and needing harm reduction, right? So you're me. So I now have to spend the effort and the energy to register to vote Democrat. Then I have to take off work, right? I got to spend a whole fucking day waiting in line to vote for Joe Biden, right? After I just spent all fucking summer getting pepper sprayed, getting cracked over the fucking head, right? I got Nazis and police following me, fucking circling my house and shit, right? Because I want them dealt with. So I'm told the solution is to vote for Joe Biden, right? So I make personal sacrifice. I sacrifice an entire day's wages to go vote for Joe Biden, right? Only for him to spin on his fucking heels after the hogs in the country get so fucking horny that even DC fucking police are trying to coup the fucking United States government so they can install their eternal dictator, Donald Trump, right? I'm supposed to completely fucking ignore that these people were 50 feet and 5 minutes away from snatching up actual fucking senators, including actual badged police officers, badged federal agents, right? I'm supposed to completely fucking disregard all that shit after I've sacrificed a day's wage and whatever else to register to vote Democrat and vote for Joe Biden, right? Just for this motherfucker to turn around and spin on his heels like 2 months after that in his first fucking State of the Union address and tell me, after we just came out in record numbers, the most people that have ever fucking voted in the United States of America have come out to vote for Joe Biden, a lot of us on the single issue of, at the very fucking least, police reform, right? Only for Joe Biden, our Lord and fucking Savior, to come out on his fucking ivory tower and tell us that he's actually going to give the police more of our money. Right? He's going to give the police more of our money. What the fuck am I supposed to do then? Vote Democrat even harder? I already voted as hard as I could possibly vote and I got fucked. Black people in this country have been voting since 1968 and they're still enslaved, my guy. I can still get thrown in a fucking cage, become state property, and spend my days stamping fucking license plates, sewing BDUs, picking cotton, farming rice, right? That never went away. It's always been codified in the 13th Amendment. But these fucking dumbasses, not understanding the role that they play in the ratchet effect, will tell you, hey, go out and vote, right? And it's not even just that. And and here's my take on this. I might be extreme here, but the reason why I don't vote, beyond it being way too much fucking effort for me to actually do to receive nothing in return, a vote to me, if you go out and vote, You are consenting to being governed. That's consent, right? If a motherfucker has a rigged game, like, come play this game with me, right? We're about to play fucking Marvel vs. Capcom, right? This motherfucker's playing as Sentinel. Why would I play? Why would I pick the controller up and be like, if I just mash hard enough, maybe he won't whip my fucking ass with the most OP character in the game, right? And then when he inevitably fucking wins because the game was always set up for him to win in the first place, well, you know, just try harder next time. And if I don't play, I don't have the right to complain about how fucking busted the shit is. Using like it's Belarus from now. Also, I think you look at least age and gender on YouTube. We'll look into it later for you. Thank you. You were 15. You asked a black man that was about 40 years old at the time why you couldn't say it, but black people could. He asked you why would you want to say it. That's yes. Okay. Obviously, words are just air exiting the fucking lungs of people. They don't intrinsically harm anyone except for the fact that black people have fucking I forgot to turn my ring light on. Just realized that. Black people have generational trauma in our DNA, right? The N-word, especially with the hard R, does something to us, right? We could be on this toxic masculinity shit like a lot of these fucking dumbass white boys who have no fucking in touch, who are not in touch with their emotions at all, right? We can pretend like we're one of them and that it's just a word and it doesn't affect us, right? But I tell you what, if someone walked into this room right now and said the N-word to me, even if I didn't immediately act, it would trigger a reaction in me, right? Because like I said, black people have generational trauma. The N-word does something to us, right? So knowing that, why would you want to say it for any reason? For any reason, when you could just not. That's music you're not supposed to hear, so I'm going to cut it off. And see, let's get to voting locally too. If only you would all vote harder. Democrats control all three branches right now and in 2008. That's the other thing. And that's the other weird ass fucking thing that people are trying to say that 2020, like January 6th wouldn't have happened if Hillary had won. And those people were clearly either not fucking paying attention or like literally shitting their diapers or getting dropped off at school or something in the year 2008. Because I remember when Barack Obama got elected. And I remember how people acted in the aftermath of that. There was people who literally thought he was a fucking antichrist, bro. If you think for a split fucking second that the only thing that prevented that from happening in 2008 was just circumstance and motivation, you genuinely don't understand what country you live in. And I really don't know how to talk to you. Justify your existence by voting and debating. Yes, exactly. Because that's the other thing, right? So we didn't earn any of this shit by voting. We didn't vote to give ourselves the right to vote. Stonewall didn't happen peacefully. Stonewall was not a voting effort, right? We can agree that voting laws are racist and classist as fuck. The system is 100% fucked up and that local elections can and do make change, though. It's true. It depends on what it is, though. What's up, Shola? You just had this argument with a friend last night and all he had to say over and over was that voting Democrats give us a chance to make things better. No, it fucking doesn't. It doesn't. All the shit that you think that you're voting for, Democrats don't give a fuck about because it doesn't affect them. They literally just use it as fundraising commercials. Hey guys, you want us to reform the police? You better vote for us because the Republicans. And that's even if they did, even if we think for a split second that the Democrats were our only hope against the Republicans, The fact that they would use that and dangle that in front of us as a carrot to get us to vote for them is fucking disgusting, right? Good cop, bad cop, right? Just confess to me so that my partner doesn't come in here and beat the fuck out of you in an hour, right? Hillary being elected would have at best delayed an insurrection-like event. The right wing are horny to establish a white theocratic dictatorship. And that's what people don't understand either. They think that we're exaggerating when we call people Nazis. And it's like, my siblings in Christ, the Nazis took their cues from the United States of America. I don't know how else to say that. Adolf Hitler himself commended how we treated the indigenous populations in America and used that as a blueprint for how to deal with Jews in Germany. I have no clue how else to fucking explain that shit to you all. To the point where I want to fucking read Medical Apartheid. I still haven't done it, and I need to. I want to do that shit so fucking bad, especially this chapter on reproductive rights, right, and birth control and stuff, talking about Mississippi appendectomies. Google that. Tell me what you find. Real fucking weird in America, huh? You just give white boys who want to say the N-word so bad the challenge, go to Harlem and scream that shit as loud as you can. They won't. That's what I do. If you want to say the N-word on Twitter or whatever, come on here. Come into a Discord call with me. Put your face on camera and your normal voice. Say where you work and where you go to school. And then say the N-word. I'll say it with you. 1, 2, 3. I'll say it with you. Crail of Xanth, thank you for the follow. That's not something which can be voted away. That's a sickness in much of society that has to be burned out. Agreed. True. Facts. Henry Ford was a fan of Hitler. True. Facts. Google Tuskegee syphilis trials. And here's the fucked up thing. Is that the Tuskegee syphilis trials were not by a long shot the only or the worst medical experimentation that was done on black people and indigenous people here in the United States of America. And the cemetery. Hi, I'm Mephistopheles 39 here. Some Christian cultists got your main account banned just for pointing out how the Bible literally says Jewish people must be in Israel and get wiped out in Armageddon for their prophecy to play out. Yes, I was just fucking talking about that on the podcast last night. That's why the evangelical right-wing fascist wing, that's why they support Israel so hard. It's not because they're not anti-Semitic. It's because they literally want everyone to fucking die so they can go to heaven. They're crazed. They're nuts. And trying to rationalize their behavior is a fool's fucking errand. Just like it's fucking dumb to try to reason with people who think that anyone to the left of Ronald fucking Reagan is a liberal, but also at the same time a commie, socialist, anarchist, fucking anything that just want to cut your kids' dicks off so we can fuck them in a booty hole and drink their blood. You're telling me that I can challenge those people's fucking death grip on the social fucking zeitgeist by voting? Fascism is an economic boon to the capitalist class, so that's no surprise about Ford. Yes. Not even close to the worst. Yes, Algal. It's relevant because poor Tuskegee people, they got experimented on all the time. So there's prisoner experiments. If you ever get a chance, look up a book called Acres of Skin. And it's all about how they did experiments on prisoners in the South. Matter of fact, let's pull something up. I'm going to show you guys something just to really drive this point home. To tell you about things that to get across to you that there's certain shit in America that you cannot vote for and you cannot vote against. You guys ready for this? Trigger warning, this might be a little heavy for you guys who are not prepared for Holmesburg Prison. Yes, Algal. This is about prison. If you have kind of a weak stomach, these things might be disturbing to you. This video is only like 3 minutes long, and I'm going to talk about it for a minute, but I need to drive this point home. Like I was saying, there is certain shit that you cannot vote for and you cannot vote against. So let's take a look at this.
It really was the Kmart of human experimentation from 1951 to 1974.
Holmesburg Prison closed in 1996, but Alan Hornblum says what happened during the 50s, 60s, and 70s will live on forever. The researcher showed us photos inside his book, Acres of Skin.
Yep.
What you see in this bottom picture is the prototypic experiment that took place at Holmesburg. In some cases, it could just be very plain soap. In other cases, it could be a carcinogenic chemical. The inmates were never told.
Hornblum was a literacy instructor at the prison in the 1970s when he noticed many black prisoners in bad shape. He says UPenn dermatologist Albert Kligman led experiments on prisoners.
So just so you guys understand that, he was a literacy expert. That means they were doing these experiments on poor people who were illiterate, people who could not read, people who could not consent, right? Even in the conventional sense of the word, right? Even if they were literate and of sound, sound mind and stuff, you cannot consent to things if you are a prisoner, right? But even if they could read and understand what was happening to them, they would still not be consenting. But just so you understand how severe and how fucked up this country is.
The inmates were paid $1 a day, but it cost them their health. For his book, Hornblum spoke to Dr. Kligman before he died in 2010.
He thought what took place here was fine. According to his observation, the inmates were treated fairly.
Philadelphia shut down the experiments in 1974, 2 years after the Tuskegee syphilis experiment made national headlines. But the damage to the former inmates was already done.
They have lots of fears and regrets. They never really learned what they were testing or being injected with.
Almost a half century later, a survey shows 53% of blacks view medical scientists positively compared to whites and Hispanics.
I'm not surprised at all.
Dr. Ayla Stanford heads the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, a group of predominant...
No, this is different from the Tuskegee syphilis study, bruh. This is what I'm saying to you all, is that it's not just Tuskegee. Read the book Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. If you haven't, I'm going to read it on stream at some point. This is part of it. This is from a book called Acres of Skin, but this isn't even the worst experimentation that they did. They literally did fucking radiation experiments on black veterans. There is a man who had a broken leg in a motorcycle accident, a black man, and they injected his broken leg with 10 cc's of plutonium just to see what would happen to him, and watched him fucking disintegrate over the course of 10, 15 years and die of leukemia just because they could, just to see what would happen. If you don't believe me, let's look at it after this.
Predominantly black doctors who offer free testing in Philadelphia's low-income neighborhoods. Black communities in Philadelphia have a disproportionately high number of COVID cases and deaths. The consortium is working to break down the walls of mistrust among African Americans.
But you actually listen to what they're asking and you show them the testing kit. You demonstrate how it's going to be done.
Dr. Stanford says black doctors only make up 5% of all physicians in America. So educating white doctors about black health care is crucial.
You have to acknowledge what your own implicit biases are when you see a 6'5" African-American male come into your office.
In Holmesburg, Brandon Hudson, NBC 10 News.
There's that. Look at this. Let's check this out.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord.
It's not really my story, it's our story. Because I could not have had it done without you.
I met Vertus in the church choir. He really couldn't carry a tune very well. In fact, sometimes I would look to him and I would sing directly in his ear, and that way that would get him back on pitch.
What was so compelling for me was that here was a man who had never written a book or made a film before, who, because of the love of his friend, became a storyteller, became a filmmaker.
Any memories come to mind?
Oh, very fond of memories. Maybe on a Saturday afternoon, if you find somebody had an old broken down wagon, you take the hook on the iron hook that you know, but make a wire and curve it and then roll that hook down the hill or whatever, and that's it. That's the only thing.
Roll the hook.
With that wire. That's our toy. It's a black man that founded Laos Station.
This is amazing about Laos Station. The black community played such an integral part in that whole process of freeing slavery.
Oh, yeah. They called this little community Freedom Village.
We never thought much of segregation. That was normal when we came up, because that's all we knew.
I knew that something was wrong on this particular day. All of a sudden, he began to sob. He was sobbing uncontrollably. And he said to me as a child, 5 years old, I was experimented on. I was experimented on with radiation.
They had a little round beanie they put on our heads, and then two girls stood behind a LED screen, and they pushed a button, and it seemed like I saw some flashes. And she told the other nurse, "Oh my God, I've given him too much."
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord.
I think any sort of description of what has occurred and what Vertus lives with on a daily basis is nothing short of incredible.
Are you angry?
No. But if you're angry, that means your heart's not right.
Hallelujah, hallelujah,
This is what they did to us.
It was God's grace that helped me. It kept me here. I think he wanted the stroke to go. I think he wanted to go.
They did that. They did that to him when he was 5 years old.
Show the magnitude of his mess. Because it should be told.
Remember when I told you about Mississippi appendectomies? Let's look at this.
Mississippi appendectomy is a phrase that describes the forced sterilization of black women, mainly but not only in the South. And the reason why the phrase is so powerful is because it's naming a practice of deceiving black women, because often people were admitted to the hospital and told, for example, they had to get their appendix removed, and really they were given a hysterectomy or tubal ligation.
This is a culture that wants us to talk about the political and the cultural. Much more than talking about the foundation of it all is exploitation.
Correct.
So the economic dimension is the exploitation of black women's labor and black women's bodies. It's that fundamental.
Thanks for bringing it up,
I'm excited to give you an update about.
Let's talk about Henrietta Lacks. Let's do that while we're down this rabbit hole. See if I can find something short for y'all, short and sweet, because I'm from Baltimore. This is Baltimore.
Some of the most important advancements in modern medical research can ultimately be traced back to a black woman who worked on a tobacco farm before World War II. Her name was Henrietta Lacks. In February 1951, Lacks was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cervical cancer at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. Unbeknownst to her, a sample of her cells was sent to a tissue lab. A cell biologist isolated and then multiplied it.
As it turned out, the cells did not die, as would normally be the case. And in fact, they were doubling at this phenomenal rate. They would just keep replicating.
Although these weren't the first human cells to be grown in a lab, this was the first time they survived more than a few days. This huge medical breakthrough allowed researchers to conduct experiments on human cells outside of the body. The cells were given the name HeLa, a combination of the first two letters of Henrietta Lacks' first and last names. Although they carry her name, Lacks, who passed away at the young age of 31, would never know that her cells had been extracted for scientific research. Lacks' family members only learned that her cells had been harvested 2 decades after her death.
20 years.
A Rolling Stone journalist contacted them and revealed that Lacks' cells had been duplicated and then used for research by countless scientists.
I feel you, Freckle.
The article called the work a critical tool in medical research. While HeLa cells have played a crucial role in scientific advancement, the fact that Lacks herself never consented to the research means that her cells were used unethically. What's more, her case was part of a long tradition of the use of African American bodies without their consent for medical and scientific
Her family
research,
still hasn't gotten paid
dating
yet.
back
Of course
to
not.
slavery, and including the infamous Tuskegee syphilis study.
It was part of a culture of not respecting the core humanity of black folk and how they were being treated either by medical researchers or even by physicians.
Yep.
Despite the ethical debate around the harvesting of Lacks cells, scientists have continued to use the immortal HeLa cell line all over the world. Research involving polio vaccines, chemotherapy, HIV/AIDS, cloning, and IVF have all benefited from the HeLa cell line.
And like Algal said, her family has still not been paid for that. And these fucking dumbass people think that this all gets fixed if we vote hard enough. Right? The two most extreme classes of people that I vote, or rather, I would vote to address, right? We're voting to address what? Extreme poverty and police brutality. Two classes of people who do not give a single fuck who you vote for. They don't. A lot of people in extreme poverty can't fucking vote for one reason or another. And the police, the FOP, is the largest and most protected union in the fucking country. They don't give a fuck who you vote for. Joe Biden just handed them a nice fat fucking check that we signed for after we fucking were convinced to vote for him, right? But Roe v. Wade, though, right? The police are going to put me on a fucking hoodie. Somebody's going to be at the mall getting my face with angel wings fucking airbrushed onto a hoodie, but at least the kids will be able to learn about CRT in schools, right? I don't understand. I truly don't. It has to come from a place of just sheer privilege, to where the extremes of this country have never touched you. You've never had to see them. You're probably not even aware of a lot of this shit. And you genuinely believe that stuff like gay marriage was won because of people like Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. People who never gave a fuck about that shit until it was politically expedient for them to do so, right? Meanwhile, you have no fucking clue what Stonewall is, right? Just like in that fucking that cringe tweet talking about how we were sitting on our asses while they passed the Civil Rights Act, right? How fucking cringe that is. That's literally what the fuck you're saying. That's literally what the fuck you're saying. How can you understand that humans, that black people did not get the right to vote by asking nicely, that us being granted the right to vote did fuck all to change our material conditions in the country, and then spin on your fucking heels and say that voting is necessary? How? Literally how? And if your only argument is that voting doesn't hurt, then why the fuck would I do it in the first place? Why would I burn an entire fucking day's worth of wages to stand in line to vote for someone who doesn't give a fuck about me, local or federal, right? When I could give $20 to Food Not Bombs every Saturday. Give $20 to Baltimore Abortion Fund every Saturday. Give someone a ride to the clinic if they need it. Help someone cook food for Food Not Bombs or something. This is the whole fucking point of direct action. These people are fucking lib-brained and they think of this shit all as charity. They have not made the distinction between charity and mutual aid in their heads. They legitimately think that the United States government, these are just cracks. The system is broken. They don't understand that the system was set up from its inception to function this way. It was never for us. It was for land-owning rich white people. Period. And that's how the fuck it's going to stay. And he will only give you enough to keep you complacent. That's why niggas got the right to vote, but there's still niggas locked the fuck up doing slave shit right now. Right now. Today. And sure, we could vote in local elections, try to get DSA and PSL politicians in minute positions of discrete fucking power. But how is that any more or less a waste of time than just doing actual direct action? Thank you, Algal. What's up, Cody? How you doing? Charity, more like fucking crowdfunding with these internet brain dipshits. And that's the thing, is you can't talk to these people. They're all in the same time, where it's like fam, black people have been doing this shit in this country. We have been doing this shit in this country since they fucking brought us here. You just watch that man with a fucking hole in his head say that he's not angry. Why? Because he believes that people can change and that his story needs to be told. And the job of people like you is to fucking take advantage of that good nature of black people and tell us that the only way for us to have that type of shit not happen to us anymore is to give the people who do that kind of shit to us even more fucking power. You understand how fucking silly this shit is? You understand? You understand how fucking frustrating this shit is as a person from my political perspective to watch people who have no fucking clue about prison experimentation, right? About the XYY experiments, right? In the midst of conversations about essentializing the trans experience, right? We want to go back and forth all fucking day with these TERFs and transphobes so that we can get dunks and clips and content, right? And yet we completely overlook the people who have experienced the worst, the absolute fucking worst that this country has had to offer. Do you know that they were lobotomizing black children? If libs really wanted to make more people vote, why don't they come out to protest states that make it impossible to vote instead of judging other people for voting? It's just a way to stand a moral high ground for them. Like I said on my tweet, straight up, and I'm not joking, a lot of these people just want positions in politics. They want to run for something. They're working on somebody's campaign, whatever. right? They literally get a bag off of our fucking suffering. And the cognitive dissonance is too fucking strong. So they got to make it seem like it's our fault. Vaginal experiments on black women conducted by one of the most well-respected doctors in American history. James Marion Sims, The Origins of Gynecology, were from experiments that a man conducted on his black woman slaves. Vesicovaginal fistula was a problem. Big problem. How do you fix it? Well, you just, black people don't really feel pain like that. So you don't have to waste money on anesthetic. Just fucking chop them up. And if they die, fuck it. Just get another one. Just buy another one. What did Nino Brown say in New Jack City? Cancel this bitch. I'll buy another one. That's how they view us. Even now, we're not useful to them unless we're voting for them. And even then, they can't be asked to deliver half of their fucking campaign promises. And here's the morbid fucking irony, right? Here's the morbid irony. There's mad people, thousands, millions maybe of people right now in America who are fucking begging for student loan debt relief. My student loan debt got canceled. This man, Joe Biden, canceled my student loan debt, and I didn't even vote for that motherfucker. I didn't even vote for him. I just happened to go to a scam fucking for-profit, non-accredited college because we live in a society where there's immense fucking pressure on teens to decide what they want to do for the rest of their fucking lives, right? You're not old enough to drink, but you're old enough to make a decision that will put you in thousands of dollars worth of debt and will determine the trajectory of the rest of your fucking life, right? Immense pressure to do that. And the least they could fucking do is go, hey, oopsie, sorry you got scammed after living through a massive fucking national recession in 2008, the year after you graduated from high school, and being desperate as fuck to get some kind of education and getting flim-flammed by a fucking Mick college with fancy computers. Sorry about that. Here you go. If you do bring up issues like this, you get dismissed as a virtue signaler or a crybaby. Like, holy fuck, I just wish some of these people would just admit that they're privileged fucks who do not care so we can stop pretending to like them. That's literally been my whole fucking vibe, right? I know there's this whole fucking thing. We're not going to talk about Stardust. Go look at Stardust Twitter right now. Go watch her fucking streams. How much content has she put out about here's abortion funds, here's how to support them, here's what to do. Because the only thing I've been shown is a bunch of fucking memes and jokes and laughing and fucking giggling and playing. Because these people don't fucking care. They are grifting. They know that you have some political motivation from 2020, just like every fucking body else. We were all home and bored in 2020, and we wanted to get out there because it seemed like the right thing to do. And these people will take that political energy to make you watch them talk to people who think black people have smaller brains and lower IQs so they can make money off of their platform, right? Even people who bill themselves as political fucking experts leave their home base to go to some other place in the fucking world to cover shit that no one gives a fuck about. Just because it's entertainment, it's war porn, right? You get to look at these people that are in dire fucking straits, fleeing for their lives, right? And it makes you feel something. Why? Because you don't give a fuck when it happens to the black people in your own country. You don't give a fuck when it happens to Palestinian children. You don't give a fuck when it happens to Yemeni children. You don't give a fuck when it happens to Libyan children. But as soon as the kids are white and European, we got to care. Got to check it out. Got to tune in. Got to be kept abreast, right? What do I think matters? Show cock? Maybe. What do I think matters? I think that community matters. Above all. your family, and your friends. Work with them. Build community fridges. Build jail solidarity funds. Build a food not bombs. Build these things yourselves so that you don't need to rely on anyone else to build them for you. What if you can't? You can. You always can. Young Slug, I need you to understand, if you don't understand anything, that black people did this shit in America when we were literally in fucking chains and couldn't read, right? I promise you, you have more capability and more wherewithal to do these things than the people who originally did them in this country. I promise you. You and your friends and your peer group can do something. And if you can't do something, you can find who is doing it and help them, whatever way you can. But that's how it's got to be. We build dual power, right? We didn't learn about these things, Talon of Silverhawk. I will tell you firsthand, I didn't learn shit. I had to read Medical Apartheid. I read Medical Apartheid when I was 28 years old, and it changed my fucking life. Do you understand this? Do you understand? I knew about the Tuskegee study, and the only reason I knew about that is because I specifically took a paramedical biology class when I was in 12th grade, my senior year of high school. I spent 3 months in that class, and out of that 3 months, we spent 2 days. 2 days learning about the Tuskegee experiment. So no, we did not learn about that shit. I had to find that on my own. Talon is trying to defend our education system by saying that in an AP class in high school, he got one paragraph for each terrible thing. That is literally the fucking problem, my dude. That's literally the fucking problem. Imagine you were in an American history class, right? And they only spent 2 hours teaching you about the Boston Tea Party or the Revolutionary War. Do you understand how fucking goofy that would be? That would be silly, right? Oh yeah, Mowdy. Whatever you're imagining with the experiments, I promise you it's so much worse. And not only is it worse, it was government funded and ran. So no, voting is bullshit. Yo, Fines, thank you for the raid. I was just talking about how voting doesn't actually change anything. You shouldn't trust people who tell you that you need to vote. You're lucky you lived in Hawaii in elementary and middle school because your teachers would read the chapter, close the book, and then be like, this is what actually happened. Yeah, I didn't get that luxury. Thank you, Fines. I appreciate you. I didn't get that luxury. And what's even crazier is I had a black woman teacher in 4th grade. Miss Trainham was my teacher. We didn't learn fuck all about the civil rights movement. We learned about Benjamin Banneker, and we learned about Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks. That's it. Your science teacher told you evolution was fake. Jesus Christ. I went to a Catholic school. I went to multiple Catholic schools, and they at least had science classes. You didn't learn shit in history class? Neither did I. All the history I learned was outside class as well, because it's not meant for you to learn. It's not fucking education. It's propaganda. We all learned the same fucking thing in history class, that The Pilgrims came to America and hung out with the indigenous people, and they invented Thanksgiving and had a great, good old, gay old time, right? And there was like the Trail of Tears or some shit like that, but it's cool, it's okay, because America. Slavery happened and it sucked, but don't worry about that because Martin Luther King Jr., there was slavery and then Abraham Lincoln ended that. And then there was a little bit kind of racism, a little bit, but then Martin Luther King Jr. ended that. So if anything bad happens to you in America, it's your fucking fault because you didn't pull your bootstraps hard enough. That's what we all learned. Thanks for the follows, everyone. I'm cute, thank you. History class didn't what's up, Mike Size? Thanks for the follow, everyone, on Trovo. History class didn't teach you shit. All they did was reiterate MLK, the Holocaust, and the whitewash version of Christopher Columbus over and over and over again. They teach us about the Trail of Tears. You didn't even learn about the Trail of Tears? See, fam? We learned about the Trail of Tears. We spent like a day on the Trail of Tears. And of course, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, whatever, fucking bullshit. They don't tell you about Christopher Columbus fucking cutting children's hands off because they didn't bring him enough gold, right? Can't talk about that. That's not appropriate for the children. You know what I mean? We learned their cannibalism in Jamestown was because no food. I mean, that's why, because they're fucking stupid and they couldn't just trust the indigenous people. Didn't fucking want them here because they tried to rob them and fuck them over when they came here. And then they figured out, oh shit, we have no clue how to fucking grow food here. This is a completely different environment. And they ran out of food and they fucking ate each other. You didn't get to see any real American history until you got to college? Exactly. And even that is still whitewashed. And it's crazy because college is pointed out as this like bastion of liberal fucking politics and bullshit, when really you get the same fucking continuation of indoctrination in college as you would get in any other high level fucking high school in the country. It's just literal fucking Nazi propaganda where they're talking about how the Frankfurt School is turning the kids gay and trans and communist. Cultural Bolshevism rebranded to cultural Marxism. It's literal Nazi propaganda. But we can't call people Nazis because that's too extreme, right? Fucking ridiculous. Your school was abnormal. You learned a lot of stuff you wouldn't normally learn at school. We learned about things like SNCC, the Gay Liberation Movement in Tulsa, but even then we didn't have enough time to really learn about that in depth. Also, that didn't stop the neighborhood got from being gentrified. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Beyond all the shit that we just talked about, there's, like I said, there is shit that you simply cannot vote for, right? What happens when you, homesteading in Texas, get a letter one day that tells you that Elon Musk wants to build a rocket launch pad in your back fucking yard? What are you going to do? You get a letter in the mail one day that tells you that your entire fucking block has been rezoned as a commercial district and they're going to build luxury condos as part of a company town for an Amazon warehouse that's going there. What are you going to do? You find out that Joe Manchin is getting a kickback from a fracking company that now wants to drill in your backyard and turn your water flammable. That water's coming out of the tap. You can light that motherfucker on fire. You can light your water on fire. What are you going to do besides nothing? You going to vote? You going to fucking vote for these same politicians, the same politicians that just fucked you? And wait? Vote and wait? Malcolm X talks about the white liberal, and Martin Luther King Jr. did as well, specifically about how they want to impress upon us that we have to move in the proper timetable because liberation is inconvenient for people in power. Surprise, surprise. But also, Malcolm X said this: you don't stab me in the back 8 inches and pull the knife out 4 inches and call that progress. Progress is when you pull the knife out and dress the wound, heal the damage that was done, and make amends. That's progress. Malcolm X's fox and wolf comparison was on point when addressing white liberals. Yes, exactly. You have the wolf and the fox. You have the Republicans who just straight up want to fucking eat you, right? And then you have the Democrats who just want to use you to attain their power. Have I ever noticed that pictures of MLK Jr. in black and white and other pictures of the time are in color? My theory is that they do that to make it seem like it was a lot farther in the past than 50 years. That's literally why they do that. That's literally why they do that. It's propaganda for children who already have really very, very shaky concept of like time, to make them think that that shit was like ancient history. Happened a long time ago, right? Is the hatred between Dems and Repubs performative? It absolutely is. Let me show you a picture. Hang on. Here we go. Does that answer your question? You can't not vote for Wall Street. If you don't fuck with Wall Street and you want to not vote for them, you want to vote against them, guess what? You're shit out of luck. Just the same as it doesn't fucking matter how you vote to change the laws if the people who enforce the laws can smoke your shit and go on paid vacation for it. Whether we're talking about Elijah McClain, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Philando Castile, Amir Locke, whoever, right? It doesn't fucking matter how you change the laws if the people who are supposed to enforce those laws can put you on a fucking t-shirt for no reason and go on vacation, right? Just the same, it does not fucking matter who you vote for, because the politicians have owners. You can't vote against multinational corporations because they've already bought and paid for all the fucking politicians. You didn't know Donald Trump? Hold on. Wikipedia for Donald Trump. Donald Trump registered as a Republican in Manhattan in 1987. Since that time, he has since changed his party affiliation 5 times. In 1999, Trump changed his party affiliation to the Independence Party of New York. In August 2001, Trump changed his party affiliation to Democratic. In September 2009, Trump changed his party affiliation back to the Republican Party. And I wonder why he would do that. I wonder what happened. Do you think there's maybe something that happened the year before that would influence his decision to change back to the Republican Party from the Democratic Party? You think maybe there was some kind of election, maybe some kind of political unrest in the country that would influence his decision to do that? Just a thought. You know? But this is what I'm saying. It's not just that you can do mutual aid and vote or whatever. You can do all this stuff at the same time. Why would you want to? Why would you want to? The Democrats don't give a fuck about police brutality. They've shown you that. They don't give a fuck about Roe v. Wade. They could have codified that shit into law at any point. RBG could have fucking retired at any point during Obama's presidency. Why didn't she? Because of the power. They don't give a fuck about us. They care about power. And just short of power, they give a fuck about money. That's why I don't give a fuck if they lose. Because they already got your money. They did all their fundraising and everything. They already got your money. They don't owe you shit. Like I said, a lot of people out there voted for Biden specifically to address police brutality. What did they get for that vote? Fuck all. The Democrats don't have a solution for extreme poverty. They just don't, right? Here's the Candace Owens take. They want you to live on a Democratic plantation. Frackle and I talked about this. The point of organizations like Food Not Bombs is to create a world where food not bombs is no longer necessary. The point of organizations like the Baltimore Abortion Fund is to create a world where the Baltimore Abortion Fund is no longer necessary, right? What do Democrats tell you about social programs? They have to be protected, right? Why? Why? Why not give people the means to create for themselves? And I'm not shitting on a lot of these social programs because people depend on them, right? But the whole point is the dependency is the fucking point. The dependency is the point. They want you to be dependent on the state and the power structures that be, so that they can say around election time, you need to vote for us, or we're going to take you, or you are going to lose your rights. Because anything that can be given to you can be taken away. We're seeing that happen right now in real time. Right? You're on SSI/disability. You have no independence. You would if we lived in an equitable society that treated people with disabilities in the proper manner. But because we live in this fucking capitalist fucking shithole where humans are raw materials, if you can't work, no one gives a fuck about you. They just want everyone to go to work. That's it. And if you can't work, then fucking die. Just die. That's why we don't have Medicare for all. That's why we still have the drug war. Is because if you can't go to work and they can't throw you in fucking jail and make you into a slave, then they just want you to die in the fucking streets. Thanks, Algal. I appreciate you. For us, there's absolutely no difference between Dems and Republicans other than the Dems use us as a political weapon. That's it. That's all. That's absolutely correct, Mouty. If I was a felon, right, what fucking difference would it make whether a Democrat or a Republican was in charge? I got to hope and pray that a Democrat pushes here and there to get some protections and legal rights and so on and so forth to me. By the time he exits office, I got to hope that that's somewhere on his fucking short list of shit that he or she or them needs to accomplish. Because let's be real. Let's call a thing. Let's keep it 1,000. Politicians are beholden to their donors, first and foremost. They don't give a fuck about anyone else. Someone gives you $2 million for your campaign and you get elected. If they call your phone, you will answer, right? You've bitched about this a bit already, but just a reminder, these fucks sent over $30 billion to Ukraine in just a month, but meanwhile, we're like, just for pennies a day, you feed a starving African child. This pisses me the fuck off too, on all levels, right? On a federal level, We have no money for social programs here. We can't do Medicare for all. We can't do student loan debt relief. We can't do ending the drug war, right? We can't do real harm reduction, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But we have all the money in the world to fucking send to Ukraine to give them arms so that they can fucking fight in their battle that no one truly gives a fuck about. People are just morbidly curious about. And if you can't admit that, you are just fucking, I don't know what to tell you. You're being dishonest. If you don't have literal family members or don't directly descend from Ukraine, you don't care. You don't. You fucking don't. And you can't fucking virtue signal like you do when you just want war porn. You just want to see other people suffering to make you feel something different from the mundane humdrum of your everyday life. And it's easier to relate to them and feel their pain because they're white and European. They look like you because you only give a fuck about that. Yes, tear it all down. Exactly. And that goes to every level, right? People, no names, no shade. There's people from Maryland who would rather cover Ukraine shit, grossly, by the way. What up? What up, Deem Stars? What up, Fade? You're a libertarian, though. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you educate yourself. He got banned so fast, his message ain't even pure facts. I don't even know what he said. Poseidabot clapped him. I want to abolish the United States government. That's not a position that... When I need for you people to understand this about me. If you understand nothing else about me and my politics. Thank you, Nova X Grim. If you understand nothing else about me, I want to abolish the United States government. The United States government is the largest entity for suffering for marginalized groups around the world. One of the largest anyway. At least definitely in America. The United States government creates much more suffering than it alleviates. Marginalized groups, whether we're talking about queer people, trans people, black people, whatever, would benefit so much more from the abolition of the United States government than they would whatever social programs you think the government performs that was probably fucking co-opted from either anarchists or communists anyway. Right? Sub-Zero was a subscriber bot. That's what I thought. You really want Ukraine to oppose Russian imperialism, even if funded by America? Like, I don't care. I'm going to say point blank, I don't care. I've said it before. As a member of the international workers of the world, as a member of the global proletariat, I have solidarity and nothing but the utmost respect and hope for marginalized people around the world, for proletariat workers and impoverished people around the world. With that said, I pass police with my butthole puckered because I might get clapped, and I drive past fucking drug addicted, houseless people every day. Every day. You can't make me care about some white people halfway around the fucking planet when I gotta drive through abject fucking poverty, third world fucking conditions in my own backyard. Why? Why? What makes any of that shit remotely as important as talking about and addressing the needs of my community? It might get me clicks. That's not what the fuck I'm here for, though. I'm not even entertained by that shit. Give this land back to indigenous people, based. We pay for 70% of NATO, 3.74% of our GDP. Germany, the most powerful economy in Europe, pays like 1.74%. We pay for Europe's defense, and we can't give our people health care because they don't give a fuck. And I like it's so crazy that like for me. Also, let's talk about harm reduction, because that's a fucking brain dead take when we're talking about voting too. And it really pisses me off. So let's look at that. Because harm reduction meant something. Right? Harmreduction.org. Do not let the liberals co-opt this. Do not let them co-opt this. Harm reduction is a set of practical strategies and ideas aimed at reducing negative consequences associated with drug use. Harm reduction is also a movement for social justice built on a belief in and respect for the rights of people who use drugs. So we're talking about safe injection sites. We're talking about needle exchanges. We're talking about ending the war on drugs. We're talking about reducing penalties for repeat offenders. We're talking about Medicare for all. We're not talking about voting for fucking Joe Biden because he's less scary than Donald Trump. Okay? Okay. Please fucking stop letting the liberals co-opt this language. This is like it's all part of the fucking ratchet system, right? We have a thing on the left that's based as fuck. The Democrats say, ooh, people like that. How can we make money off of it? That's literally fucking it. Do I think a voice like mine could be better used in a different society? No. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm exactly where I need to be. And how I'm dealt with, and this gets into the whole Dylan thing, right? I have been streaming talking about exactly, first of all, I've been streaming for like almost 10 years, but I've been streaming talking about exactly these issues in exactly this manner and exactly this format since the year 2020, when I was out in the streets of Baltimore City covering the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor protests, right? My first hippy dippy recruitment was in November of last year, right? My second one, I think it was in like December. So Dylan, or at least the hippy dippy team, I was on their radar for 3 fucking months, right? 3 months. During the entire month of February, I did not just 4, but like 5 or 6 streams of bars, right? With based ass other panelists talking specifically about Black history, Black issues. I even talked to Vosh. Some of you only know me because you saw me talking to Vosh, right? So it's not as if this type of content, this quality of content was absent from my channel. And yet the first time that Dylan rated me was because he saw the title of my stream was I'm talking shit about your favorite streamer. And I had been going back and forth with Sansol earlier that day. And he thought if he rated me with Sansol, it'd be some nice drama content for him and his audience and whoever else. Because they don't give a fuck about politics. It's grift. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about the people they have in their recruitment. They don't give a fuck about any of that. They care about what will give us more engagement so that we can make more money off of the platform. And when I speak on that, I'm stabbing him in the back because he was doing me such a huge fucking favor rating me with 500 people who just wanted to watch me go back and forth with Sansol. Vosh cared until he got his bag. Everyone cares till they get the bag. Everyone cares till they get the bag. The bag changes you. The only exception to the rule I've seen is Hassan. Hassan has been on code since day fucking one. Motherfuckers want to cry about him having expensive cars, expensive clothes and shit. But what is he doing? Look at what he's doing, and then look at so many other people in the sock dem or liberal category on Twitch politics, Twitch debate, what the fuck ever. They're memeing. They're literally just memeing. This is why this shit is so fucking frustrating to me too, is because there's a million things that I could be known for, right? A lot of you watch me. Some of you watch me because you like Mortal Kombat. You want to watch me play Mortal Kombat. Some of you like me because you want to watch me play Hunt Showdown. A lot of you like to see me and hear me talk about these issues and do these things and break all these sorts of issues down, right? But what does Dylan's audience know me for? Snaky behavior. Because his feelings were hurt that people might have separate opinions about their coworkers. Because I guess he's never fucking worked a real job before where you have to work with people you don't like to achieve a goal. That's also racist. Black dude being snaky. Get the fuck out. So when that happened, 2 of his highest viewed videos were the video of him calling me a snake and the hippy dippy round table where they tried to make Joe Louis look stupid for saying that the Asian person was white passing or white presenting or whatever, because they don't understand what we're talking about. They don't have the capacity to, and even if they did, they don't fucking care because we're just wrestlers in a stable to them. That's how all this politics shit is viewed. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, the Republicans don't give a fuck because they're fucking deranged anyway. Those fascists will get their way no matter what. The Klan are literally in the fucking police department. They don't care. They are good. They are set. Their grip on society is fucking firm, right? But the Democrats, they got to have that bag, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them are just thirsty for accomplishments. They want to be the first whatever, the first this, the first that. Get Out is the perfect movie to describe white liberals. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Tear it all down. But if I talk about this, it's drama, right? It's so fucking silly, dog. It's the silliest. I do nothing on my stream, if not constantly, even when I'm playing video games, talk about politics, talk about direct action, talk about mutual aid, talk about building dual power, talk about building and strengthening your community. All of the major stuff that I've done has been community stuff. If you go to my Twitter right fucking now, my pinned tweet is a link to the Baltimore Abortion Fund. I covered it at the top of the stream. I covered it on the stream last night. The last fundraiser I did was for the innocent. Well, I participated in shout out to Gremlo. I participated in Gremlo's project, Innocence Project fundraiser, interviewing people who were wrongfully convicted of murder and spent 24 years in fucking prison. And they are based in Baltimore. The fundraiser I did before that was for Baltimore Food Not Bombs. Had a fucking personal friend of mine who cooks and serves for them come and sit in this fucking chair and talk on this mic to explain what it is he does, what the motivation for it is, what the end game is, what the end goal is, right? Before all this Roe v. Wade shit popped off, the next fundraiser that I was planning was for the Be More Community Fridge, right? The other content on my YouTube that's not video games is literally me going to music shows and seeing bands in DC and in Baltimore, right? Supporting my community. I don't want to be fucking seen as a wrestler, as an actor, as a character. I'm not here for that. I'm here to do what needs to be fucking done. I'm not here to tell you guys that everything is going to be okay if you just vote hard enough. I'm a fucking living example of why that's not fucking true. I just told you guys. I spent all summer 2020 getting my fucking ass kicked in the streets just to be told that it gets better if we vote for Joe Biden, just for him to turn around and give the police more of my fucking money, right? The feel when Nation of Domination was right and they were the hills. I mean, It is what it is. Twitch Poll is literally the drama TV channel. I didn't know that until I got fucking involved in that goofy shit because just like y'all, I fucking touch grass. I came in here looking for an audience so that I could share these ideas, meet people like you all, and we could all work together to do stuff like funding our local Food Not Bombs, our local abortion funds, our local jail solidarity organizations, right? These are the things that I believe in, and I have been on brand and on code for years with this shit, right? For literal years. But the only thing people fucking know me for is that I'm a snake, right? I'm a LARPer. All this fucking dumb shit because the people with the bully pulpit would rather enrich themselves and ensure their own successes than actually do something that benefits their fucking communities. Do you guys know if Dylan's even said anything about the Baltimore Abortion Fund? I haven't seen it. I saw when he did a stream about Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was literally at the very fucking tail end of the stream title. I don't watch Dylan anymore, so I have no fucking clue. I can only assume based on his Twitter, where the Baltimore Abortion Fund is wholly fucking absent, that he has not spoken on them, even though they're literally in his back fucking yard, right? Because it doesn't fucking matter. Grown-ass men yelling at each other about shit that doesn't matter. I don't even want to name drop people. Because I don't want them to fucking take that as an invitation to fucking, watch my VOD, react to my shit, and send it on the fucking React pipeline to all the other streamers who have no fucking value in their content, and that's why they have to react to other people reacting to other people reacting to things. Dylan is looking to leave Twitch or something because he isn't growing how he wants or something like that. It's a real fucking weird coincidence how Dylan is suddenly seeing how toxic Twitch politics is when Sansol is literally his fucking mod. As I said previously, the only reason he fucking raided me that first time is because he wanted to see me go back and forth with Sansol, right? But now suddenly when he gets called out for that kind of shit, not his fault. You gotta step away. I'm saying he wants to do some real shit. Like record a fucking piece of shit documentary in a country that no one gives a fuck about while people get clapped every fucking day in Maryland by police, right? Exactly, Mowdy. Like, me even talking about this shit now the way that I am is probably an invitation for more bullshit. I'm hoping it's not. Because I was cheeky last night, did some clickbait shit where I like fucking talked about, I like titled my stream Drama Alert, the truth about Dylan Burns, Sansol, Dana Bowe, Mystery, blah, 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 blah. And I literally just talked about the Baltimore Abortion Fund for 30 minutes because I knew that would draw eyeballs and get clicks the same way that I just knew. I fucking knew that right after that Sansol shit, on Twitter, if I titled my stream something cheeky, like I'm talking shit about your favorite streamer, he or other people would appear so that I could do my due, right? Acceptable clickbait. I know how these people operate. I've been dealing, and that's the other crazy thing, and it's the thing I didn't realize till the first time I talked to Dylan. This motherfucker wasn't even alive for 9/11, right? This motherfucker was almost still shitting his fucking diapers when Obama got elected, right? What was I doing when Obama got elected? Oh, that's weird. I was just performing at a benefit show. Performance in service of the community is not a fucking brand for me. It's literally just what I fucking do. But I'm a LARPer. I'm a fucking LARPer because I don't know, man. I don't know. I was 19 when Obama got elected. I was 19 when Obama got elected. I was in a band called Disassemble. It was like a crusty kind of like punk, like grindcore band. We played with some other punk bands at a place called the Sidebar here in Baltimore City. And there was election coverage the whole night. We had TVs on CNN and shit. Yeah. You were like in first or second grade when 9/11 happened. I was in seventh grade. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember being mad that I couldn't watch Pokemon because it was on every fucking channel. And then all of the conspiracy theories and shit that came out after the fact have kind of a superstitious family. So I kept seeing the, I don't know if you guys remember the like newspaper clippings that had like the devil's face or like a demonic face in the smoke that was coming out of Tower 2. But I remember all that shit. All that shit. I remember when they tried to justify us going into Afghanistan to say that we have to combat the Taliban, we have to fight for women's rights, and fucking dumbass people were using that same talking point to say why us pulling out of Afghanistan was bad a couple of years ago. Right? You followed, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You followed Dylan when he first came to Twitch because you saw Mike Gravel, so you thought he must be cool. A month later, you heard him say the Iraq war was justified because Saddam was bad. This is what I'm talking about. These people are part of the ratchet effect and are completely blissfully fucking unaware because they gain power through that shit in one form or another, right? You either want to fucking be in politics or be part of politics somehow, so you got to convince people that fucking electoralism is the wave, right? All of that mutual aid and direct action stuff that people actually depend on, that they wouldn't be able to survive without, that I've personally fucking seen people who would be dead without that shit, that's cute. But the real action comes in November, right? You need to vote. Axis of Evil days, yes. And yeah, Mowdy, that shit was wild, wasn't it? But I didn't intend for this to be like a stream of me going at. It's hard for me to operate in a space that I do and do the things that I do and say the things that I say because we're literally fucking surrounded by liberals on this platform. And it's frustrating to be like, yo, my politics are literally informed by my lived experience and primary sources being the experiences of my mother, my grandmother, my father, right? People that I have direct access to who can tell me about shit like my mom being pregnant with me and being thrown on the fucking pavement by a police officer who was just mad and trying to fill a quota, right? I can hear my grandmother talk about how she had to pick cotton from sun up to sundown and how the only way to get out of it was to sip on a little bit of fucking tobacco spit because that would make you too physically ill to actually go out in the heat and work, right? I know this, and I can see, like I said, my grandmother picked cotton from sun up to sundown, witnessed the 2 weeks of rioting after MLK Jr.'s assassination that resulted in the Civil Rights Act that gave us the right to vote. And even with the right to vote, that almighty fucking token of fucking omnipotence is still motherfuckers picking cotton from sun up to sundown. What's changed? Isn't it like at least 50% of people have less than a few grand in their bank account? That is one car breakdown, medical need, and they are fucked. Yes. Half of the people in the country paycheck to paycheck. Libs don't understand material dialecticism. It's dialectical materialism or historical. Yeah, but yes, they don't understand that. Libs will literally tell you that. And this is why I don't understand why they don't see this. You have all the same propaganda as the Republicans. You think that the United States government is good. You think the founding fathers are dope. You think the living document of the Constitution is the end all be all and is just fucking awesome. It's just that it's broken a little bit, needs tweaking, right? You use all the same language that they do. You refer to yourself as patriots. You refer to yourself as fucking true fans of liberty. All that shit. How the fuck am I supposed to tell the difference between you people, especially when the consequences of supporting you are negligible to not supporting you? When I take time out to support you and you don't do shit. The Constitution was finalized by a dude that died from shoving a whalebone in his dick. Damn, that sounds kind of tough. You're asking what's the deal with Rhizome? I don't know what his deal is. I truly don't. In the conversation where I spoke to him, or rather in the conversation that he inserted himself in to run defense for Sansol, this is, I will tell you everything I know about Rhizome. This is the only thing I know about Rhizome. Bink Princess, shout out to Bink Princess. Bink and I were trying to have a conversation with Sansol because, among many other things, I took issue with him using the term subhuman, like we don't know what the origins of that word are or what that word means, right? We're just using it because Destiny uses it, even though Destiny is right now streaming on the fucking Nazi platform, right? Go figure. We had to have Rhizome come in to run defense and explain that subhuman is not intrinsically racist and have this whole fucking hypothetical conversation, this whole anti-SJW 4chan shit about how it's not always racially motivated when a white person uses the N-word, right? It's the only thing I know about Fade. It's the only thing I know about Rhizome, right? We banned him immediately in this chat. I unbanned him because people kept coming in here to say he wants to talk to me. And then when I messaged him to be like, hey, you wanted to talk to me? Oh, I understand why you protect Sansol so hard now. And show him that I could see the analytics when he popped off. Him just being like, you're useless to talk to, and immediately blocking me. I don't know shit about Sansol. I don't fucking care. Yo, thank you for the follow, Andrew. Good vibes only. And yes, voting will somehow automatically fix the country, even though people came out in record fucking numbers. The most people who ever voted in the United States of America came out to vote for Joe Biden in 2020 and got what for it? Do I not want Destiny to be on the Groyper platform? How else is he going to defeat them? What do you mean defeat? Destiny is a Groyper. Didn't get shit? Yeah, we didn't get shit. If you voted for Joe Biden because you wanted to see police brutality get addressed, guess what? Fuck you. Try again next time. If you wanted to see student loan debt relief, fuck you. Try again next time. Right? If you wanted to see Roe v. Wade get codified into law, fuck you. Vote harder next time. Right? That's what Mr. Geek said to you before you got banned on Jocord? Dog. I know, like, it's funny. Like, I talk about how much I hate French people on here, like, as a joke. Like, I'm low-key, high-key, not really joking. But, like, how are you that fucking clueless? How? I see your post about houses and F-35s. No, I didn't, Mouty. You voted for Biden because you were scared of Trump. But, like, here's the thing. Why? If Trump was scary because he emboldened the white supremacists in this country, they're always going to be emboldened. They're in the fucking police. They're going to do whatever they want regardless of who's in power. He said it about Tucker Carlson and Hippy Dippy. Fam. Hippy Dippy is literally just like fuck. Like, imagine being Great Value Rachel Maddow and being proud of that. That shit is insane to me. I could never. People are still getting put in prison for weed. That is correct. And it is bullshit. You got banned from Rhizome, Sansol, Fanatic, and Hansa Farkir for standing up for Keffels when they were justifying the hate and transphobia thrown her way when Destiny got banned. I mean, those people are pieces of shit anyway. That's on code. It's very on brand. I would expect nothing less from them, just based on how I've seen them move with me and with other people. But it costs somewhere between $100,000 to $400,000 to build a house in the U.S., with the average being somewhere in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. A single F-35 costs over $100 million. One F-35 built equals roughly 1,000 homes not being developed, but somehow we can't afford social safety nets. That's the point, though. Because the United States is a plantation. If you can't work, die. That's the vibe. If you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps, then you deserve to get trampled. That's the vibe. Trump winning again in a red wave, winning 2022, etc., isn't going to change much. We are right where Repubs and demos want us to be. And this is what's so fucking goofy about this conversation, is that it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Biden, whoever, I'm going to still be fucking supporting Food Not Bombs. We're still going to have to support our local abortion funds. We're still going to have jail solidarity funds. We're still going to have to do all of this shit that anarchists and communists do that is considered LARP by people who have no fucking clue why it's necessary. Right? I'm about to hit 1350 followers on Twitch. Gross. Gross. Sad but true. I mean, I don't come on here to fucking lie to you all. I don't grift. You feel me? Like, I terminated my affiliate contract because my outreach was more important to me than my revenue. Being hated for a good deed is better than being loved for a bad one. I'm struggling with that. I'm not going to lie to you all. I'm struggling with that heavily. And I haven't really talked about it on stream. I've kind of talked to it a little bit about it with like Fade Runner and people that know me closely. The Dylan hot mic snake shit fucked me up like really badly. Really, really badly. Because when I was turning down requests of people who wanted to see me on the political tier lists, when I was not really interested in doing hippy dippy recruitment or whatever anymore, when I was talking shit to Sansol, talking shit to CTV, talking shit to Stardust and shit, I was super worried about getting blackballed, right? I was super worried that I was going to fuck my relationships up with the bigger streamers in the space, including Dylan, right? And I was just had this glimmer of hope that content like this and all the rest of my content, whether we're talking about the Black History Month streams that I did, or we're talking about the news coverage that I do every time I go live, right? I was just hoping that I would be base enough for my fucking petty disagreements, which were for valid reasons, would be kind of overlooked. But what do people know me now for? Snaky behavior. VTM, I don't know what VTM is. you're autistic, so it's a tad bit easier. You had zero care about every one of you. I do. So here's why I cared, though, because I don't give a fuck how people view me either, obviously. But and this is why I apologized to people like Seaweed. I apologized first and foremost to the people who were also in that hot mic vid. But I apologize first and foremost to my comrades that I do fundraisers with, because I just knew. I knew that the blowback for that was going to be that they were somehow taken less seriously because they associated with me. And that was all I cared about. I didn't want any of the blowback from that fucking petty ass, bullshit ass, goofball ass, fucking soft ass, Karen ass shit that Dylan did to come back on any of the other people that I care about deeply, right? The only difference with them is that they say privately hasn't leaked. Could only imagine what their convos would be like. I'll say this much, because I can't put people on blast like that. I don't want to throw other people under the bus, but I've had private conversations with people about what those people say privately when they think that no one is paying attention to them, and the shit that they say is for them to pretend like I was being a snake for what I did. Put it this way. I earned the title of snake for talking shit about Dylan behind his back and getting caught live doing it because I forgot to end my stream. But what did Rhizome and all of them do when Danabo called them all small streamers? What did they spend like an entire fucking weekend doing? Right? The whole reason that Dylan was even aware of that VOD in the first place is because Sansol was drama farming him. He has people that give a fuck about him that little in his circle, but he was just hurt. His feelings were hurt because I said some mean things that he didn't challenge. Did not challenge. None of the shit about Prime Kai's is up for debate. There's literal photographic fucking evidence of it. When you have numbers, you control the narrative. Exactly. And that was my point, is that just like with Sansol and them, how they would rather go back and forth with me and hunt for stupid subhuman people or whatever to make fun of on Twitter as opposed to actually talking about real issues and supporting their community. Dylan's only interaction with me, aside from rating me so that he could see me go back and forth with Sansol, is to make sure that all of his entire audience didn't fuck with me, to know that I am a snake. Danabo wasn't wrong. That's the crazy part. Twitch poll is like the smallest infinitesimally small portion of Twitch. Hassan is big, Mike from PA is big, Keffels is big, Vosh is big. Nobody in the spaces. That's it. Kai's is bad. Yes, he fucking sexually harassed Katarana. Fluff did a video about it. I can link it. I don't fuck with Prime Kai's until he answers to that. I don't fuck with anyone who fucks with Prime Kai's, low key. I'm not saying fucking go brigade him or any crazy shit like that. I'm just saying I don't want to move with Prime Kai's. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to associate with Prime Kai's. A lot of the shit that he does and says is fucking goofy lib shit anyway. Shout out to Fluff. You said LOL Dylan is the biggest snake on Twitch and that's an insult to snakes. I've been feeling that energy lately. Someone did a breakdown on the Kai's thing and posted how many times she said no, stop, etc. It was scary to look at the number of times Kat said no. It was fluff, so you don't have it on hand. Yeah, it's fucking gross. Like, it's obvious as fuck. But because Destiny got involved and we turned it into a streamer drama thing, right? That's what's so fucking... Y'all clearly don't fucking care. You don't even care about the marginalized people that are close to you, that you have intimate fucking relationships with. You don't even care about those people. You think I really expect you to give a fuck about poor people in your own fucking backyard, in your own state? Nah, fuck no. You guys, and they get mad when you call them grifters, though. They get mad as fuck when you call them grifters because it's giving the game away. It's fucking their bag up, right? We got to make sure that those fucking teenagers and tweens think that they're being politically active by watching a Dylan Burns YouTube, by watching Dylan Burns shove a fucking microphone in people's faces who are at Darky Destroyer 3, I am going to ban you. I am going to ban you. You would already be banned if Posadabai hadn't timed you out. And this is the shit I'm talking about too. This is the shit I deal with now because of Dylan doing what the fuck he did, right? Granted, when I was doing the Trump coverage and stuff, I got posted on Stormfront. I had a Nazi raid. It was like 20, 30 fucking people posting banana emojis and all that kind of shit. But that was a while ago. That was in 2020, right? But now suddenly, after Dylan has posted this fucking snake video about me, now I got people in my YouTube comments talking about Dylan owned you, boy. And I got Darky Destroyer 3 following me just to talk shit to me. That's why I had to get Posadabot. I was sleeping on Posadabot for a while because I was like, you know what? I'm still a small-time streamer. People don't really give a fuck about my stream that much. I'm still not really on anybody's radar. Now I need Posadabot because motherfuckers are sending their fucking audience after me. And they'll try to pretend like, you can't expect to talk about me and have me not respond. Motherfucker, why? There's people trying to say that I'm a fucking... Look at this, dude. Darky Destroyer 4. Keep it coming. I love this. I love this. Give me more engagements. Give me more engagements. OG Prodigy is a chill person. OG Prodigy is based as fuck. But yeah, like literally the reason you posted that video, because I unpublished the Hot Mic video. I took it down for more than one reason. But he felt if he felt it necessary to rebroadcast it on YouTube because his feelings were hurt, specifically to rile his audience up. Ban runner needs the ban. I know you're horny for a ban, but I'm kind of letting Posadabot cook right now. I don't want these motherfuckers to even get a chance to say anything in here. I just want them to immediately get banned. I don't even want these fuckers to get any kind of attention. But yeah. They're probably just going to say some variation of the N-word anyway. Yeah. Obviously. I feel you, phenomenal idiot. And if anyone's offended by touch grass, I know it can be kind of ableist language. I apologize. You coomed. Out here banning people. Madison Cawthorn is outed as being gay. Is he actually gay, though? Is he actually gay, though? Because I remember seeing or hearing some kind of, like, sexual assault type shit. The video is just bros being bros. He ain't actually gay. That's what I'm saying. Like, and your mileage may vary because I am literally queer. I am pansexual. But like when I identified purely as like straight, there was mad gay shit that we did when I went to an all boys school. His personal assistant is his live-in gay lover. Republicans are just trying to get him the fuck out of here. I don't know. Like, I mean, if he is, more power to him. There's nothing wrong with that other than the fact that he's a fucking slimy piece of shit for being a Republican and literally voting against the interest of his class, right? They released his Venmo message history with his personal assistant. I saw that too, but it's like, that's not damning to me, right? Like, if me and Fade Runner went to the movies or something and I fucking put in there our date and some hearts or some shit like that, is that evidence of us like fucking each other in the booty hole? Or is that us just being goofy? And I don't know. I can't. I'm just saying. Until we go full Ted Haggard and we catch this man getting his dick sucked or sucking a dick in a public restroom, I don't believe this shit. I'm sorry.
Be filled with passion and desire. Would like to see your naked body beneath my hands.
Me too. I'd like to do that as well.
This is so obviously a like boys will be boys type shit. Like so obviously a joke to me. Hang on, I'll show you guys what I just watched.
Be filled with passion and desire. Would like to see your naked body beneath my hands.
Me too. I'd like to do that as well.
Like that's not enough evidence for me, dog. I'm sorry. I have personally, like I said, mileage may vary. I'm actually fucking queer, but like I have done that kind of shit with my friends before, completely platonically. It's just fucking. You've never played gay chicken? Like I don't know. It's boys will be boys shit, especially with the high testosterone and toxic masculinity shit that these Republican white men are running on. Like I'm sure way gayer shit, but totally not gay because you just call it no homo. You feel me? Like. Repubs love gay jacketing or pedo jacketing members of their party they don't like. Exactly. Fade Runner said it. Like, yeah, I feel like just like what Fade Runner said, he talked too much. He was doing too much, talking about the cocaine parties and shit. Matt Gaetz is literally in the middle of litigation right now for a cocaine party because he was fucking high school girls allegedly. So they had to get him the fuck out of there. And what better way to do that when your base is virulent homophobes, right? Just gay jacket you and they won't vote for you anymore. They'll try to primary you or whatever shit like that. Don't put that on stream.
Oh my, oh my, oh oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Your dick is in his face. Your ass is on my face.
There's literally someone watching.
Okay, I'm done.
Fam. I mean, Mitch McConnell said it. As long as Cawthorn's not taking a leak on his cousin's face, there's no story. Like, none of this shit is impressive to me. Click that link that Young Slugger posted. I can't put it on stream because there's a but. But yeah, Faye, that was gay as fuck. Don't get me wrong. That was gay as fuck. But I don't think that was, like I said, until we're in full Ted Haggard territory, and this man gets like caught actively sucking a dick or something like that in a public restroom, I'm not buying it. I'm thinking he's just getting gay jacketed because they want to get him the fuck out of there. Yeah, thank you, Tear It All Down. The only reason I don't want to do that is because I want there to be less barriers to entry to conversation on here. Like, if the trolls get that bad, I'll do that. But right now, it's kind of a minor annoyance. Like, I got Posadabot to deal with that for me, so I'm not really pressed. What's up, Globus? Exactly, Mouty. It's weird. It's gay as fuck, but it's frat boy shit. Like, you got to remember the fucking white boys and the frats across this country do shit like fucking they'll haze you by like sticking a carrot up your asshole or some weirdo shit like that. Like, I don't know. BS, at the very least, what he did there is sexual assault. Yeah, if it wasn't consensual, then of course, yeah. He literally had his fucking dick on a dude's face or whatever. Well, that's the thing, young slugger, is I don't like, so Madison Cawthorn is not a boomer, right? With Ted Haggard, it would make sense how he would get honey trapped and shit because he's old and fucking stupid, right? But with Madison Cawthorn, he's had to have known since he was in like middle school that everything you post on the internet is out there. All your videos, all that shit is going to be available, especially if you get into politics. You know what I mean? It's just wild to me that he's talking about the cocaine parties and the wild sexy parties, and now suddenly this shit appears, right? It's just weird to me. Yeah, exactly, young slug. Yeah, good night, Boom King. Good to see you. Thanks for coming through. That video is the equivalent of giving your friend the brain, not some secrets. Yeah, y'all motherfuckers never fucking gave your friend a goat. You never tucked your shit, and I'm not even going to get into it. Deem Stars. It was out of context. He said no homo afterwards. Yeah. He said pause. The Batwing. Yes. You never gave your homies the Batwing. You never gave your homies the goat. You never gave your homies the cat's brain. You never showed your homies that you sat in gum. Y'all are weird. You're weird. If you never did that, you're weird. If you've never sexually harassed your male friends, your platonic male friends, you're weird. If you've never been sexually harassed by your platonic male friends, you're weird. Keep it coming, bro. Keep making these fake accounts. We're gonna time you out and ban you every time. You're not doing shit but blowing my engagements up, fam. Blow my engagements up. Matter of fact, I know this is gonna hurt your soul. You should have stopped at 1350. Oh, never mind. The follows don't count because you keep getting banned. People need to watch Waiting? Yes. You got a foot shoved in your mouth while you sleep, and that's maybe the wildest shit that I've had happen. Listen, I'm going to tell you this story. And I got to say this. I was at a middle school slumber party one time. We were in 8th fucking grade, and we all had a sleepover, right? We were playing Truth or Dare, right? And we got this man to beat his dick with hand soap in the corner, right? We dared him to jerk off to completion with hand soap in the corner, bubbles flying up in the air and everything. And we were sitting there fucking laughing the whole time. Whole T, just geeking, hard as shit. Gay as fuck, but not gay. It wasn't gay though. Your male friend sent you a dick pic randomly? That's funny. No joke, you and your friends put money down on your friend doing the same thing? Yeah, it's gay shit. You play gay chicken. This is like boys will be boys type shit. That shit had to burn like fuck. Oh, I know it did. I know it burned. Kelda Juice, thank you for the follow. Now I'm at 1350. I have 1350 followers. I got the racist no. I got the politically provoked number of followers. Welcome in. Oh my God. And that reminded me, thank you for the follow, Phenomenal Idiot, because immediately after that, we dared him to shove an ice cube up his asshole. And he did that shit. And went to bed and fucking, I remember waking up in the middle of the night and I couldn't even fall back asleep because I was geeking. I was fucking laughing so hard because it melted. He had this big ass wet spot on his fucking ass cheeks from on his pajama pants. Fam, you're weird. Y'all don't act like I'm weird. You're weird. If you never did this shit, you are weird. If you never played Truth or Dare and got your friend to fucking aggravated assault his schmeat with soft soap, you're weird. If you never like dared your homie, if you never played Truth or Dare and dared your homie to shove an ice cube up his booty hole and leave it in there till it melts, you're weird. Okay? Don't come at me like I'm weird. You're weird. The gay chicken joke is good. In high school, I played gay chicken with my friend. 13 years later, we are married with an adopted daughter. He better give up soon or I'm going to think he's really gay. Yeah, like, he could have backed out. Mustang juice. My man got banned. Yo, Beer Bash. I appreciate that raid, comrade. Beer Bash, Beer Bash. Boy Meets Mini was good. Nightwolf, Alex. Let me fucking, I wish my shout out commands work. I just got to drop y'all's links. We were just talking about playing gay chicken as kids. And how, like, we, like, dared this kid to shove a, yo, Dabarumba, thank you. Da Harumba. We, like, dared this kid to shove an ice cube up his booty hole and leave it in there until it melted. Thank you for the follow. Talking about Indian politics, that's cool as fuck. I'm glad y'all had a good night. Thanks again for the raid. I'm thinking about raiding out, but yeah, hell yeah. No problem, Nightwolf. I've seen you in some other chats. I know you're based. Indian politics get so horribly covered in the U.S. media. Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, all politics gets horribly covered in the United States media, but the shittiness is the point. You're not supposed to be looking at politics. You're supposed to be at work. Your ass is supposed to be at fucking working. Donation abortion fund. Is that a good charity? Let's check it out. Keep our clinics. We have a donation abortion fund that we encourage those to contribute to. This is a big portion of how we keep independent clinics in Connecticut up and running. Any support that we receive is greatly appreciated as it is needed urgently. The more that those contribute to our donation abortion fund, the longer we can keep independent clinics' doors open. Consider donating today. A cursory Google. Yeah, seems cool. I don't see anything too crazy about them. But while we're doing that, let's look at the Baltimore Abortion Fund. Exactly, Beer Bash. And U.S. media is just war propaganda. That is correct. So let's look at the Baltimore Abortion Fund because it's based, and then I'll probably rate out. Contribute if you can. I'm going to do a fundraiser. Right now, the tentative date is May 14th. You guys know the vibes. I'm going to need you guys to come hang out and show with me and shit. But I'll let you guys know. I'm trying to secure an interview from a representative from the Baltimore Abortion Fund. But, yo, what up, Digital Bean? So let's take a look at this site here. This is the site for Baltimore Abortion Fund. The BAF is a mutual aid, grassroots, nonprofit organization that provides financial assistance and practical support to people who live in or travel to Maryland for abortion care. We are part of the national network of abortion funds, which consists of 70-plus independently operated funds across the country. We use an intersectional reproductive justice lens to dismantle white supremacy and remove systemic barriers people face when accessing abortion care. So just that sentence right there, based as fuck. You sure already know what time they're on. BAF operates a confidential helpline, 443-297-9893, where our case managers make financial commitments to help callers pay for their procedures, as well as provide information on how to access abortion care. BAF provides financial commitments to cover a portion of the caller's abortion care. Our case managers refer callers to area health clinics that provide reproductive health services. BAF provides practical support like transportation, accommodations, and translation services to remove barriers to abortion care. BAF actively works to reduce abortion stigma within Maryland and participates in the broader conversations in shaping local and statewide policy affecting our callers. Why abortion funds are important. Abortion funds ensure people have the resources they need to make decisions that are best for them and their family. Abortion funds are independent nonprofits. Abortion funds will partner with any National Abortion Federation provider. Oftentimes, these are independent abortion clinics. Independent abortion clinics provide care to 3 out of 5 people in the U.S. who have an abortion. Removing financial barriers is critical to protecting access to abortion care. Their values as an organization. These following values reflect how we want to be as an organization and the way we work with one another. These values will have overlap to the work we do as a direct service to communities. They believe in collective power, balancing autonomy and collaboration, intersectionality, decision-making, transparency, honoring humanity, and joy, the most important thing of anything. Our values as a direct service provider. The following values reflect more about how we do the work of BAF, funding abortions, giving practical support, fundraising, community engagement, etc. These values may also overlap with how BAF operates internally as an organization. So they're client-centered, they focus on reproductive autonomy and justice, and they view health care as a human right. And abortion and reproductive health care is health care based. So let's learn a little bit more, because there's some $5 words in there. So here's how it's going to work, Wyatt. So Maryland is a state where abortion access is protected. So with that in mind, there's going to be people who are coming here from more restrictive states seeking reproductive health care, right? And so BAF exists to facilitate that. So they're based in Maryland, and these clinics are all in Maryland and in Baltimore. But the whole point is that if you're in fucking, I don't know, like Oklahoma or something, then if you wanted to, like if you chose BAF, they would help you get here, get you an abortion, put you up for the time that you're laid up or whatever, take care of your kids, whatever you need. It's mutual aid. So here's their values as an organization. It's common theme 1, collective power, creating relationships of power with each other, not power over each other. So that's democracy right there. Creating systems and processes that enable us to come to group decisions so that we can speak with a credible and unified collective voice. Balancing autonomy and collaboration. We respect and honor each other's contributions and work in a way that is responsive to the work and the values other people hold. We recognize that role clarity intentionally balances power and respects the unique wisdom of each person. We check in with people who would be directly impacted by our actions before we take them. All of this is based as fuck. Intersectionality. We understand that experience, insight, and impact are all different based on the various identities: race, ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation, immigration status, socioeconomic background, people with disabilities, etc. that we hold. We speak from our experiences and we center folks with marginalized identities to ensure that our decisions and actions are creating a truly inclusive environment. Decision-making transparency. We maintain a decision-making process in which everyone knows how decisions are getting made, who is making them, and how they can participate in decision-making processes. The information people need in order to participate in our organization is made accessible. Honoring humanity, acknowledging the lives and circumstances of collaborators, holding space for messiness, having reasonable expectations of one another, and understanding we are all balancing different things in order to show up for this work. While creating balance, we aim to be open and honest about our personal capacity and having reasonable expectations of one another, while remaining accountable to BAF's overarching missions, values, and goals. And joy. Our work is public, positive, and relationship focused, which decreases stigma for abortion seekers and for us. Client-centered. Our work is fundamentally about serving abortion seekers. We listen closely to what they need. We do our best to create systems and processes that meet them where they are at. When a client is not met by our systems, we prioritize them over our systems to create an individualized response and may even take it as an indication that we need to reevaluate our systems. So for anyone who doesn't understand, they create a system specifically to help abortion seekers, and if there are any outliers or extremes, they cater specifically to those individuals and may even take their experience with that individual on board to change the way that they move with everyone going forward. Based, right? What's up, Aaron? We want our services and our advocacy to be truly accessible. This means listening closely to the people for whom we want to create access so that we can make processes that don't create barriers. In doing our work, we honor what abortion seekers may be going through and strive to be supportive both emotionally and logistically, right? So it's not just about getting them the abortion, right? It's not just about getting them a ride, putting them up. It's about actually really being there and respecting them as a member of the community, right? According to Sister Song, reproductive justice is the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. People of color often face the highest barriers exercising this human right. Having the autonomy to decide and control contraceptive use, pregnancy, abortion, and childbearing is vital to reproductive justice. BAF acknowledges the ways that identity and one's position with oppressive systems create barriers to realizing reproductive autonomy. Reproductive justice uses this acknowledgement to remove these barriers and repair harm. We seek to disrupt systems, processes, and ideas that impede reproductive autonomy. BAF is committed to the creation of systems, processes, and ideas that repair harm to folks barred from reproductive autonomy and create and restore reproductive justice. Healthcare is a human right. We believe that healthcare should be a human right, not a commodity accessible only to some. Abortion is healthcare. So this is about as based as you could possibly get. I don't know how you could even get more based than that, short of just like fucking, I don't know. But it's the Baltimore Abortion Fund. Send them money if you could, if you would. Like I said, the tentative date is May 14th. I might shift that around as I try to schedule with my fellow comrades who do fundraiser streams with me, and also securing this interview with a representative from the Baltimore Abortion Fund. So I'm definitely doing a fundraiser stream. I want to do a 24-hour stream to raise money for the Baltimore Abortion Fund. I'm trying to nail down a day. And then once I nail down a day, we can figure out what we want to do and who wants to get involved and to what capacity. I'm hoping you all would contribute. You all seem based as fuck. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. But yeah, I have to race like a piss horse. So I'm going to raid out. Remember, if you need to know if you know anything about me, please take these things away from me. That all the stuff that I do on here, not all, but like solid like 90% is in service to my community. Whether I want to raise money for the Be More Community Fridge, Baltimore Food Not Bombs, Baltimore Abortion Fund, right? I want to support my community. And beyond that, I want to give you all the tools so that you can support your communities as well. Whether that's starting your own organizations or being able to find the organizations that already exist and contribute whatever you can to them. Money, time, effort, energy, just spreading the word. Everybody has a role to play. Everybody has a part. If we play it right, we can do this. It can be done, right? And don't talk to police. The police are not here to protect you. They are not your friends. They're here to lock you up. Don't talk to police. And yeah, that's it for tonight's Snake Stream. I will be going live Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My homie, my comrade, my bestie, my coworker, Fade Runner 20XX will be going live tomorrow night, probably playing some Apex Legends. He doesn't really get too super deep into the politics, but I usually play with him. We play together. So if you just like me, you think I'm a funny dude or whatever, come through, hang out. We're going to always be having a good time. Thank you, Kaiser Creechbaum. Thank you, Bronx. Thank you, Wyatt Martinson. Thank you, Mouty. Thank you, Young Slug. We can talk after. And thank you, Tear It All Down. Honestly, this shit is all so encouraging to me and is motivation for me to keep going. Because like I said before, I was kind of fucked up by the whole Dylan like snake video or whatever. And I first and foremost, I didn't want any fucking blowback of my petty ass interactions to affect how any of my comrades move with their platforms. I'm glad that everybody was able to move and continue and do their thing and not suffer any consequences from my fucking boomer moment of not fucking remembering to end my stream. And that's really it. I just want to fucking... I'm not LARPing. I'm not fucking out here trying to finesse y'all. I'm not grifting. I don't even have a fucking affiliate fucking contract anymore. I terminated it. I literally just want to support the community and help y'all support your communities. That's it. That's all. We're gonna figure out who to raid to now. Yeah, are you in my Discord? Did you already jump in my Discord? Because I have a Discord channel. Yeah, jump in waiting. Hang on. I will drop my Discord link in chat really quick because I have been told that the link does not quite work anymore. Oh, thank you, Kuma. Kuma already did it. Okay, who are we going to raid? Seaweed's live. Let's raid Seaweed. How long has Seaweed been live? Nine fucking hours. Fuck it, let's do it. Alright, y'all, be good. Show Seaweed some love. 50% C, 50% weed. And, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow or I'll see you Friday. Godspeed, comrades, and